Ladies and gentlemen, I have spent entirely too many nights in the woods over the last month of my life. How about you?
I've spent entirely too many nights by the sea. Wait a second. There's no
That's
such
exactly
thing.
what he wanted.
Yeah.
This is exactly, you do
This
not
is
get to
not-
complain about this
yeah,
boat.
no.
To your credit, you have not been complaining about the boat.
Correct.
You have been very Bob Ross about the boat.
Yes.
Aiden bought a boat. I found out how much it cost him, and I got very upset with him.
It is, in fact, the worst financial decision of my life.
No, give me the camera back. This comes on the heels of he bought a 1989 Ford F350 dually diesel, which turned out to be a great decision actually, but at the time seemed like a bad plan.
Do you know why I got the diesel dually?
I probably do, and I've forgotten.
How did you start the show? What announcement did you start the show with?
Tonight?
Yes.
Just now?
Yes.
I was in the woods a lot.
Right after that.
You bought a boat. Oh, yeah, you bought that to buy the boat. Yeah, so no, that is a bad financial decision. His first car out of college, this man bought a, 2010?
Yeah, wait a second, hang on. No, I have to defend myself here because I wanted to get a truck right out of college. I wanted to get a cheap $5,000 truck.
And what did you get?
I was like, all right, yeah, so I want to get practical, like it'll be great. And then my father, I walked into his office and he was like,
oh, pin it on dad. I see how this is.
oh yeah. He decided to look me in the eye and say, why don't you look at Camaros? And for whatever reason, the first thing I said
I know
to
exactly why he wanted you to look at Camaros.
why? Because he had a new fun toy then?
Girls.
It wasn't a big concern. Not particularly. As a car person, it wasn't a big concern. But the first thing out of my mouth back to him was, why would you say that to me? Because now you know I will look at nothing else.
And then he bought a 2010 Camaro. Aiden, what worked in that car when you bought it?
Oh, everything.
Not the speakers.
No, they did. Well, no. They're fully broken now.
Oh, good God.
Yeah, no, so...
driving in silence?
Yeah, no, that's what AirPods are for.
You're not supposed to wear AirPods while you drive, but that's a different discussion for a different time. Oh, good God.
All of my financial decisions with vehicles at this point have been learning experiences because I'm learning a lot about maintenance and repair.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing at least. You got the macerator fixed, right? Oh, no.
The what?
The macerator.
No. The macerator.
The macerator?
Yes.
The same thing. Masticator.
That just sounds... No, don't clip that. No, that one was not fixed because there were other things that needed to be fixed, such as the fuel tanks and a variety of other elements with the engines.
This isn't a boat, by the way. To be clear, there's no masquerader in his car.
I feel like you shouldn't be pronouncing it like that.
Masquerader?
Yeah. Oh, well, at least, okay, masquerade, yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Masqueraders of the Lost Ark?
Indiana Jones and the math debaters.
Oh, well, that's just disgusting. Get your head out of the gutter.
So, no, mine's in calculus. Where are you?
Indiana Jones, mostly, primarily.
enough,
What is
fair
this
enough.
show about?
Nothing. There's no reason anybody should be
I
watching
got it
this.
so far off track. I was just trying to make a quick little joke about being in the woods because it's relevant to the discussion. And then we ended up here. This is my fault. This is my fault, to be clear.
No, it's okay.
Well, yeah, so the reason I brought up being in the woods is because Friday's video takes place in the woods. It takes place on Roan Mountain. You could say that Michael Reel was hot to go away from camp. I still don't know what hot to go means, by the way. I do not understand the kids these days.
I'm glad I'm not the only one who doesn't understand it, but I was impressed by how many people loved the Chappelle Roan reference in the comments.
Chapel Roan. It's not Chappelle.
Is Dave going to get mad at me now?
Well, if you called him Dave Chappell, probably.
Yeah, valid.
I don't feel like those two would get along either.
I don't know what she's like, but he's pretty chill, so...
We'll talk about this off the air.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Michael Reel video, I assume most of you have seen it. The gist of what we said in the video is that Michael Reel's an 8-year-old boy. He's on a camping trip with kind of a confusing cast of characters because the papers can't agree who was there. But definitely his mother, definitely his grandmother, definitely his 4 sisters. Iffy on whether his grandfather was there. especially because both of his grandfathers were dead, but his step-grandfather was supposedly there. He goes missing for 7 days. Over the course of that time, on the first day that he is, on the first full day of the search, which is Sunday, July 3rd, 1983, he is sighted 3 separate times, up at the Rhododendron Gardens on Roan Mountain. So this is about 6 road miles from his campsite. 6? Yeah, 6 road miles, I think 4 miles from his campsite. It might be 4 road miles. I might just be making errors here. But I do know it was a total of 6 miles as the crow flies from where he was ultimately found. Now, that sighting of him up on top of the mountain, one of them is on the road. And in that one, they mentioned that he's carrying it looks like the child they saw was carrying a metal bowl. When he's found, again, 6 miles to the northeast, 6 days later, he is carrying an aluminum pot. This is probably the metal bowl being referenced. He tells rescuers that he spent time in a cabin eating eggs and biscuits and watching TV with his grandfather. He says that he spent one night in an abandoned cabin. Just all these kind of weird stories, right? It's written off as hallucinations according to the newspapers. Well, as it turns out, I messed up. I missed a pretty major piece of evidence while I was doing the research, and I could make excuses. I think I'm just gonna own up to this one. I should have searched YouTube. I should have searched Michael Reel interview. I should have done that, but every time I've searched interview for anything in the past, nothing's come up. There's never an interview. The one time that there was an interview with Stephen Kabaki, and it had not come out yet. I think if I remember correctly, this was before we had actually had any conversations with Nick, the Missing Enigma, but we put out a video on Stephen Kabaki. He put out a video on Stephen Kabaki the day before us. And a whole bunch of people were yelling at me in the comments. And they were like, wow, how could you just steal Missing Enigma's video? And I was like, first of all, I just learned who that guy is like 3 weeks ago. Second of all, I shot this video a week before his video went up. I don't know. I did not know in advance. And then we became friends. We love Nick. I'm excited to have him back on soon to talk Dennis Martin and Jordan Grider. Possibly the whole cluster as a whole. We should see if he wants to come to Tennessee with us.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah, Nick, if you're watching by any chance, or if anybody here is a fan of The Missing Enigma, let him know that the 4th of November, I think, we'll be hitting the Smokies.
That sounds right. When are we going up to Brant Lake again?
We got to do that at some point. I think we got to hear back from
we got to reach out to
Brendan.
Yep. Yeah.
We got to hear back from him about that. But yeah, so if anybody wants to get in touch with Nick, I'll also get in touch with Nick after the show because we want to have him on to talk about some other stuff. And I need to talk to. I got positive responses from Darkness Prevails, Swamp Dweller, and I feel like there was one other person who is escaping me right now for an episode to talk about horror stories and just storytelling.
Nice.
An episode of this show in October. So I'm excited about that one. That'll be fun. And just while I'm doing some announcements here really quick, we're going to Yellowstone. I am allowed to announce this. We are going to Yellowstone July 30th of 2025. It is going to be another Trova trip. There will be a total of, depending on whether or not our girlfriends want to come, there will be a total of either 11 available spots or of 9 available spots. The first 8 get a discount. It's $200 cheaper. The pricing is going to be $17.95 for early bird. So that's the first 8 people, and $19.95 for the remaining people who sign up. It's going to be a week. It's not going to be nearly as strenuous as our Alaska trip. That was rated a 4 out of 5 on the activity level. This is a 2 out of 5. But yeah, so that's the basic information. That will launch on Monday, the 30th. So that link will become live Monday the 30th for people to book.
Of September?
Yeah.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. Oh, I also just found all of this out myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a meeting to finalize all the details tomorrow. But yeah, so we are going to Yellowstone. That's going to be a lot of fun. We may or may not be driving there, depending on how something else we're planning to do next summer goes.
You want to do both of those back to back?
Well, my thinking was it might actually be easier to do it that way.
How are we going to do videos like for that month?
Well,
You remember how difficult it was before and after Alaska in terms of production and post.
I honestly feel like it'll be easy to do it all at once compared to piecemeal, but we'll see. We'll see. Well, I'm driving there either way.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I know.
I am not getting on a plane again unless it's absolutely necessary.
Okay. Well, at least this time it wouldn't be Alaska Airlines.
I didn't fly Alaska Airlines. It was American that aborted both of my both my landings.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna give Delta a try. John Mulaney told me not to, but Stakuyi told me to. More specifically, his wife Gabby, who is I believe runs the Mystery of Everything podcast. I think it's called The Mystery of Everything. Yes, that is correct. They have the History of Everything as well. Stay tuned. That's going to be important in a few weeks.
This is in the business what we call foreshadowing.
Yeah, exactly. So, getting back to the topic at hand, if you guys haven't noticed, there's currently a medication shortage. I cannot get any of my ADD meds. I am struggling. I have been on the struggle bus. But yeah, so to get back to the whole Michael Reel thing, he did an interview. And he answered a couple of questions in that interview. I posted the link earlier because I wanted people to go and view that video. I still suggest going and watching it, at the very least, because the guy who made it deserves the views. It is Talking with Famous People is the channel. He had Michael on about 2 years ago. It's a quick video, 24 minutes, quick little interview. In that interview, Michael explained, I think there were two key takeaways that I had from it. I still had some questions at the end, though. One of them was that reporters mixed up some of what he said. He did not hallucinate having breakfast with his grandfather. That wasn't like he was in an abandoned cabin. He hallucinated having breakfast with his grandfather while he was there. That's not what happened, which is what I kind of figured probably happened, was maybe he had a dream, maybe he hallucinated, ate a belladonna berry. As it turns out, it sounds like he didn't hallucinate at all, because that was really the only hallucination in mind. What actually happened is that he told people that he had had eggs and biscuits with his grandfather the morning he disappeared, not the morning he was found. So that was on July 2nd that happened. His grandfather that was there was his step-grandfather. That's the only grandfather he ever knew, according to him. And he, I'm trying to remember what I was going to say next. What was the other thing?
Did it have anything to do with the 30 minutes comment?
No. That was... He said that... So, yes, kind of. He did explain that a little bit, because what he said is that morning, he had stayed the previous night in the abandoned cabin he found. So he found the cabin. Like I said, they said they checked all the cabins. According to him, he only spent Friday night in a cabin, which would make sense, because like I said in the video, it's possible that he wasn't in the cabin when the searchers hit it. So, yes, the 30 minutes thing is because he walked out of the cabin 30 minutes before that. He had only been in the woods that morning for 30 minutes, which I think I said was a possibility.
Yeah, you did.
He did say some stuff about how the rescuers who found him were being a little bit weird, but right now I'm trying to remember what the other crucial aspect was. Oh, right. It was that he cleared up who was there, because his step-grandfather was there. He did say that when the people who found him, they asked him a weird question, which wasn't reported in the papers, which was they asked, who are you? He said, Michael. They said, Michael who? Are you Michael Chapman? And he said, no, I'm Michael Reel. Now, I looked very briefly tonight for a Michael Chapman. Turns out there was a Michael Chapman who I think died in 1983, but he was 20. I don't know what that was about. What I do know is that was one of the Eastern Tennessee rescue squads who had only been called in the day prior. So that was their first morning of the search. It might have just been that somebody had a brain fart.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
Occam's razor, somebody who just had the name wrong because they had been involved with a search for a guy named Chapman recently. And they went, oh, real, duh. That happens. I don't think that there has to necessarily be anything strange there. He did also mention how the rescuers considered restraining him because he might be wild, and how he felt that was odd, and that he wasn't allowed to see his mom or his uncle until he got back to the car. My thinking is it's been 40 years. Chances are his memory of that day isn't exactly perfect, and also when you're 8. I don't remember anything perfectly from when I was 8. And I have except for like the years 2020 through 2021, I have a pretty good memory. I don't remember many details, like specific. If something jogs it, sure. But
Yeah.
he had just been in the woods for 7 days. He did say that the reports that his hair was combed and clean were wrong, that it wasn't at all. He had been in the woods for 7 days. I think what they meant probably wasn't, he might be a wild man, but rather maybe he might just not be present right now. He might be in fight or flight mode. He might be in survival mode.
It'd be shocking if he wasn't after that scenario.
Well, he wasn't. That was the weird part, is like he seemed very calm. He also mentions how they insisted on carrying him. According to them, he was trying to walk, but he was too weak. Again,
honestly, to me, that sounds like he was probably in some state of shock, because usually when you appear calm on the surface, even if like the reason for that is because you're trying to survive.
Depending on which report you look at, he had lost 8 to 11 pounds in a week.
Yeah.
Larry Davenport, who we're looking at this Friday's video, he lost, I think, 10 in 3 days from being out there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think what's important about this is it takes the hallucinations off the table entirely. There were no hallucinations. There was just bad media reporting, if we trust Michael, and I don't see any reason not to. He hasn't made a big deal of this. He only came out of the woodwork to do this interview after Mr. Ballin did a video on the case. So that apparently is why that interview exists in the first place. This Talking with Famous People channel, he did a video debunking, I think, the Mr. Ballin video, which, of course, Mr. Ballin's stuff at the time, his missing 411 stuff. And I don't fault him for this because he's a storyteller. He's never styled himself as a researcher. He's always styled himself as a storyteller. He used Politis. Politis didn't include a lot of information about Michael Reel in his write-up. I mean, it was not comprehensive and several things were wrong. So I do not, and honestly, I don't even fault Politis because he was doing this in 2011. I doubt he had access to as many archives as I do. And he also doesn't have the research background that I have. So, I know I come down on him sometimes, but that's mainly for times that I feel like he may have caused harm or misdirected people by accident. I'm like, dude, you gotta be better about this. But I don't mean to, accuse the guy of being a con artist or a grifter or something like that. I just think sometimes he lets himself, he lets things slip by him when they shouldn't. Maybe because he wants, maybe because of confirmation bias. I don't think he does it for the money. That's basically what I'm trying to say. And I think I've reiterated that several times. The questions I still have about Michael, however, because these things were kind of just glossed over. And he said one very weird thing in the interview. And I would love, Michael, if you ever see this video, I would love to have you on because there are some questions that I would like to ask you directly. He said he did not really realize he was lost until either late Sunday or early Monday. He disappeared Saturday morning. Few hours, okay. You don't realize you're lost. Maybe you just think you're playing in the woods. 12 hours? It's getting dark. You still aren't home? You're probably lost. 24 hours? You're definitely lost. 48? You've been out there for 48 hours and you're just now realizing you don't know where you are? He also did not touch on whether or not the newspapers reported that he had seen his camp and called out to his mother, but she hadn't heard him. He did not clarify that, which I thought was a little weird. Really, the biggest one for me, is how did he go missing in the first place? And how did he not realize he was lost for 48 hours? I'm also curious how he couldn't find his way back because, again, he was never more than a quarter mile from the road. Maybe he was walking in circles. I'm also confused. He did not clarify if he had ever been at Roan Mountain, like atop Roan Mountain. There were 3, maybe 4 sightings of him up there.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear directly from him, yes, I was there, or no, I was not there. And if he says, yes, I was there, well, then I have other questions, not for him, but for other people. What did they see up there? Why did they report that? Were they just trying to help? Were they trying to throw the case off? How do you not realize you're lost for 48 hours? And that's not me being like, this idiot, because you're 8. This is me being like, what happened? Like, what did you think? I want to know what you did think was going on.
I think it was the arrogance of adolescence.
He was 8.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Yeah. I'm thinking about myself at that age,
Uh-huh.
I was incredibly arrogant.
Yeah.
And like, if I was in the woods, I wouldn't be surprised if I was like, yeah, I'm gonna Bear Grylls it, like it'll be great. Cause like, hey, you're starting to like kind of really be conscious, and like you have the pros of starting to understand the world around you, but you have the cons of still being young enough to be like an idiot.
That's fair.
So for me, it's like I could imagine like me, like especially me and a couple of friends, just in the woods, just being like, yeah, like we're gonna like Lord of the Flies it, like we're gonna, we'll be able to survive.
Yeah.
And it may just be not necessarily like not recognizing that he was lost for 48 hours, just like not willing to admit to himself that he was.
That could be it. But really, the thing for me is like he talked about how he saw helicopters. He knew people were searching for him. He said that he actually slept during the day and that he would move at night, which I thought was interesting. He's basically said he feels like he's lucky to have not gotten hypothermia. He doesn't, he feels like maybe he just was lucky. What I struggle with is he encountered those searchers. They say he called out to them. And that wasn't his story being misreported by the journalist. That was what they said to the journalist was he called out to us. Like we saw him, he called out to us. He saw us first. If he knew he was lost, if he knew people were looking for him, why did he not come out? Or why did he not shout for help? I think he did mention at one point shouting for help and nobody responding. But again, based on what he described, he was within a quarter mile of a road at all times.
Well, so my response to that would be the sleeping during the day and the moving at night thing. Because if he was sleeping during the prime hours where people were looking for him, he wouldn't really be able to.
If they got close enough to him, you'd think he would have heard him. But so here's the thing. That morning where he was in the abandoned cabin, where he woke up there, looking at where that was on the map, there are maybe these are newer houses, but they don't look it. There were houses everywhere. Yeah, there must have been buildings in the area. So I don't know. I don't think he's lying about it. I don't think that he's trying to hide something. I just think that there are still questions that I'd like answers to, just because I want to understand what happened. I'm curious, just to satisfy my own curiosity. And if he doesn't want to answer them, he doesn't want to answer them, and we don't get an answer. He's still here. That's what matters. He survived. Tennessee's not Tennessee, but the sheriff of Carter County, they learned a lesson about search and rescue. Call in the volunteer squads. They know what they're doing. That was what they got a lot of flack for afterwards, and it's part of the reason. I wouldn't say it's part of the reason Larry Davenport was found so quickly, but we'll get into that, in the upcoming video on Friday. But in Larry Davenport's search, rescue squads were there on day 2. Like for the second full day of the search, they had rescue squads out. Not a ton. There weren't, it was during the week, so they weren't able to get, the full force. Usually on the weekends, they can typically bring out, 100 to 200 people. They had, I think, 25 that day, total of 75 searchers. But they were there faster. And we know that with a lot of these other cases we've looked at, what I found strange about that one was honestly how long it took them in the Michael Reel case, because Dennis Martin, they called in rescue squads basically immediately. Trenny Gibson, they called in rescue squads basically immediately. In the Smokies, the National Park Service was on the ball. Like, we need the rescue squads. They need to get out here. We need their help. Maybe it's just that it's different departments. This was a sheriff's department. National parks are national parks. Maybe it was just a difference in policy, but I'm curious about it, and I think that these kinds of things, even 40 years on, can be useful for learning lessons for search and rescue efforts today, especially in places where people still go missing. Because, I think the most recent one in the book, at least, is Mike Heron, and that was 2008. I mean, that's in the grand scheme of things, that's recent. It's only 14 years. 16 years. Right? Math?
2008?
Yeah.
Be 16.
Yeah. Math. So but the main reason for me wanting to go on this diatribe was not to be like, we need answers, but to apologize for missing something. I should have caught that. My bad. Please go give Talking with Famous People that view. He deserves it. I haven't watched any of his other stuff, but if everything he does is, that just straight to the point, I like that. I think he does a good job. He was no nonsense about it. There wasn't any poking and prodding. I feel like there should have been a little poking and prodding in some places, but he was very casual. He made his guests feel very comfortable, and he got out what needed to get out. I think it's worthwhile to call us on these things. This is why I think in the video at the end, as usual, I said, if there's anything you think I missed, let me know. For this exact reason. Yeah. I miss things. It happens. I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So
we here at the Lore Lodge are not perfect. Sometimes we miss key pieces of information. Sometimes we put the wrong title on a video. Things just happen sometimes. We appreciate your patience and your understanding.
Wait, when did we put the wrong title on a video?
Like 2 weeks ago.
Huh?
In the like title card.
Oh,
yeah.
Because it was supposed to be Thelma.
Yeah. And I copied over the file format and I didn't change the text. But yeah, so we appreciate your patience and your understanding that considering the tight deadline that we continuously run on, sometimes we miss things. But thank you for recognizing that we're here just trying to do the best.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, but that was most of what I wanted to cover tonight was oopsies.
We could do early question times, I guess.
That's what I'm thinking, But yeah, this is what I mean when I say call me on my oopsies. If I mess up, let me know. I will do my best to correct it in the future.
Call me on
yeah,
my oopsies.
But what time is it right now?
It's 7:32.
Oh, okay. So we're fine to go to super chats.
Yeah.
So if you have questions, if you want to berate me further, go ahead. You may do it.
Berate us. You've got an hour to berate us, ladies and gentlemen.
You have an hour to berate me.
All right, we'll start off strong. I guess we'll just, considering we've got
Chat,
a lot
make
of time.
me cry.
I wouldn't say that because they will.
They will.
Any more bright ideas became a new member.
Oh, thank you.
Gomb for $5 says...
Oh, God, I'm scared.
Yep. All right.
Should I be scared?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it too early in the stream to say a super chat from Gomb?
Let me just read it.
Do you want to read it, or do you want me to read it?
The Wendushi is disappointed in your mistake, Bushy Boys. You can make up for it by releasing a 2025 sexy calendar with a Wendushi page, of course.
I feel like if we read it in a silly voice, it's not so bad.
Yeah, I agree. I gotta say,
sexy calendar is coming as soon as I feel sexy. I ate
my
good
dear boy.
today.
There you go.
I ate good food today.
I'm trying.
I'm gonna be so good. I'm gonna be so good.
I
was getting really close, and then there was an Adderall shortage, and I felt hungry during the day again.
Yeah,
that was one nice side effect. Was I didn't have to eat so much.
Yeah.
Well, I still had to eat the same amount. I just didn't feel so hungry all the time.
Just got to substitute with coffee.
I'm just gonna start drinking so much coffee.
Yeah.
It's getting bad.
I think sooner or later, if we don't feel sexy enough to do it, we're just gonna have to do it anyway.
Yeah, do it like Bert Kreischer style. Just let it all hang.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of coffee, though, we have coffee. Do you like coffee, everybody? If you like coffee, go to tableauroastingco.com, click the collaborations tab, and you can get our coffee, Mount Pocono Perk, that I designed myself, as I was a barista for many years at an artisan roastery. I know my coffee. I was born in a coffee shop. I was baptized in the coffee. In fact, the coffee I was baptized in, I was baptized Episcopalian, the coffee I was baptized in became the first cold brew.
I almost thought you were going to make a joke and say I was baptized Ethiopian.
That would have been a good joke. That would have been a really good joke.
Next time.
Yeah. Speaking of Ethiopian, though, that is one of the beans.
Yeah.
We have an Ethiopian Yigirchef.
I know it's in there. I have no idea what it does to the flavor.
But it tastes good.
It tastes phenomenal.
The Ethiopian one gives it a little bit of that like berry chocolatey taste. Yeah. Ethiopian coffees are typically on the sweeter side if they're roasted at the proper temperature. The Honduran is in there because it's got a little bit of I don't know, Honduran coffees have a nice lighter palate. So I wanted that in there to kind of balance out some of the heavier tones, some of the darker roast. Indonesian is a very earthy coffee typically. I mean, I just like a little bit of earth tones in my coffee. I think there's one other one in there, but I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. Anyway, the point is I designed the coffee.
Love it.
Also, just while we're doing merch and stuff, Aiden's wearing a shirt that says Redacted Media. You okay there?
I'm trying to show it to them.
That's a fair point. He's wearing a shirt that says Redacted Media. You can get that from Bunker Branding. Bunker Branding.
Bunker Branding.
Bunker Branding.
Bunker Branding.
Yes. Okay, next question.
Next super chat is from Asklore for $5 saying, muscular Christianity will ensure we are ready for the next crusade. Is this a reference?
Came up during my Space Marines stream.
Oh my god.
I was streaming Space Marines on my Aiden Mattis channel. Space Marine 2, I should say. Somebody just asked me about muscular Christianity, and I was like, I don't know what that is. It turns out it's not like red pill, alpha, sigma bro, gains for the Lord Christianity. It was the belief that your body is a temple, and so you should work it. You should make sure that you're, because good physicality is good morality. Apparently, somebody said Teddy Roosevelt was an adherent. Doesn't seem like it's an actual sect, but more so a paradigm.
Yeah, the phrase good physicality is good morality being tied in with Theodore Roosevelt does not shock me.
Not at all.
Although he did end up being rather rotund later in life.
In older age.
He was still, knocking people out, full on, not TKO, full knockouts while a president.
Yeah. Dude, politicians used to be so much cooler.
Who was it that had the duel?
Andrew Jackson.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Also Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr, but
That's
neither
the
of
one
them
I'm
were
thinking
president at
of.
the time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of because Jackson wasn't great.
No, Jackson was not great. Although he did have a cheese party.
What?
He brought a giant wheel of cheese into the White House and gave it to the common folk.
That's right.
Yeah, that was Jackson. He also nearly beat a man to death with a cane because that guy tried to kill him. I think it was Andrew Jackson who got shot in a duel and proceeded to kill the other guy.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody actually got nearly caned to death in Congress, in the building, during a session of Congress before the Civil War.
What did they used to have in Congress? There was something that you could get hit by. I don't know if it was.
I believe there was a paddle. I believe there was a congressional paddle.
Yeah, I think that was it.
I don't know when they stopped being cool like that. Coolidge was chill because he just didn't do anything. He was I will be president, and then he did not elaborate, and the economy was great.
They stopped being cool like that when they were afraid to take what they dish.
True. Eisenhower seemed pretty chill for the most part. Interstate was cool. Also, World War II general. I don't know how I'd describe Nixon as cool. But he definitely wasn't quite so. No, there's not many good things.
No.
See, here's the thing: is the EPA was a good idea at the time.
Still is.
Sometimes, when it sues farmers for having ponds on their own property for their ducks, that's not cool.
No, not at all.
But yeah, the EPA, we had a smog problem. But no, I feel like it must have been around the 70s or 80s that politicians stopped being even remotely kind of cool. But I think going back, Teddy seems like he might have been the last one.
Well, I think the issue is that the definition of cool in relation to politician changed.
True.
Because politicians slowly but surely became celebrities.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either. It's a problem for our democracy as a whole, but in a world that seems more and more skewed toward the cult of personality and the reference to celebrity, it was kind of unavoidable.
Yeah, politicians now are let me whisper sweet nothings to you and then stab you multiple times once I'm in office. Politicians back then were man, it really looks like the country's about to break into a civil war. I, James Buchanan, feel this is a problem for the next guy. Much better.
Well,
much better.
I gotta say, that's the thing, though, is it's not like it happened all at once in the last 10 years.
It was a gradual process.
Well, Clinton was playing the saxophone on late night.
Yeah, Polk was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna fit. No, that was Taft. I'm thinking about Taft. Taft was like, you know what? I'm not gonna fit out of this bathtub.
And he didn't.
No, he did not. Just there's nothing cool about modern presidents.
You know what? Here's the thing. In reference to cool presidents of old,
Mm-hmm.
Teddy Roosevelt gets a lot of recognition for being just badass.
Yeah.
The guy who I think flies under the radar a lot nowadays is Grant.
Yeah. Grant was a bit important.
Not only was he important, but he was the guy who literally fell upwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I read his autobiography, and the man literally said, I never wanted to be in the military. I just wanted to teach math. But they wouldn't let me. He was like, I didn't want to be in the army. I didn't want to get promoted. I didn't want to lead the union. I didn't want to be president. I didn't want to do any of it. I just wanted to teach math, but everybody kept making me. It's why I kept drinking until I became president. And then I said I'd stop because it's not good for the president to drink. But then you better believe that after I was president, went right back to it.
Mm-hmm.
And my favorite part about Grant is his friendship with not Lewis, the guy who wrote Huck Finn and
Twain. Mark Twain.
Yeah, Twain.
Samuel Clemens.
Yes, his friendship with Mark Twain is one of my favorite things because,
By the way, one of the original members of Bohemian Grove. Not one of the original, but one of the first members to join once it became a bigger organization.
yeah, back when
it
like,
was
cool.
still a place for like writers and journalists to go and just chill
Yeah,
and not be doing their day-to-day stuff, instead of a place for politicians and very powerful people to go and do weird theater kid stuff in the woods.
yeah.
It really is just political theater camp. Like, I did that whole documentary on it. It's political theater camp.
Yeah.
It's not even political theater camp. It's theater camp for politicians.
Yeah, people have to remember who gets into politics. And you know all those memes and jokes about theater kids? Imagine all of them 40 years older with a lot more power and all of the same insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is. But to finish my comments on Twain and Grant, my favorite thing about their unsuspected friendship is that Grant had been resistant to doing an autobiography all of his life. But when he was on death's doornail, he wrote it in order to like make enough money for his family because he gave a bunch of money to his son for an investment that ended up being a Ponzi scheme and they lost it all. So he ended up doing it. He agreed to do it, and he agreed to do it with a different publishing company. Somehow Twain that same day found out, came directly to Grant's house, barged into his study, and started berating him. He's like, you're not doing an autobiography if it's not with my publishing company. And Grant was like, fine, Twain, fine. I'll do it with you. And I love it.
I'm trying to think of like, that's like George R.R. Martin bursting into Trump's study and being like, no, if you're going to write an autobiography, I'm publishing it.
Pretty much.
I don't think those two are friends, but I'm just trying to think of like something that would be culturally similar.
Yeah. Or like Bush, if Bush was doing an autobiography and Malcolm Gladwell walked in and be like, how dare you?
Oh my God.
Or no, not Gladwell. Who would be a good...
Neil Gaiman.
Yeah.
Will be a good comparison.
Yeah. Or Patterson. I was thinking James Patterson. Yeah.
I want the George Bush. I want the George Bush autobiography edited by James Patterson.
Right.
The man has written so many books.
Yeah.
And I haven't read them, but I don't think they're supposed to be good.
No, they're actually good.
decent?
Yeah, no, they're
Okay,
good
for him.
novels. Yeah.
Yeah. Whew.
How are there still 900 people watching?
I don't know. I ask myself that question about all 558,000 people who are subscribed to the channel all the time.
This is just who we are.
Dude, I slept like 2 hours on Saturday night. I'm dying.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next question. We're veering into the part of the night where we actually have our first like normal conversation as friends for the week. So we'll try and hold off on that. My wife for $5 says.
We'll try to hold off on that. My wife.
That's the username. My wife.
Figured.
For $5. Says, my fellow lodgers in the Southwest, if you smell a sweet scent in the air and the yotes start getting riled up, do not stay for a skinwalker encounter.
Read that again, please.
My fellow lodgers in the Southwest, if you smell a sweet scent in the air and the yotes start getting riled up, do not stay for a skinwalker encounter.
It took me a minute to figure out what he meant by yotes, but yes, that sounds
I'm not even sure what it is. What is it?
coyotes, I think.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Because they call them coyotes down there.
Yep. Yotes.
Yotes.
Sounds like a name of a niche like AAA division sports team.
I'll admit, I had not heard the sweet scent thing for skinwalkers.
Neither have I.
It's been a long time since I did a folklore video.
Yeah, we haven't done a cryptid in ages.
Weird.
Well, because the last time we did one, YouTube got mad at us.
Yeah. YouTube was like, how dare you talk about Bigfoot?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
It's kind of nuts that it was that was the last one, and that was almost over a year ago. Or,
No.
sorry, half a year ago.
Yeah.
Half a year ago.
Now we have a sign.
We do.
Do not feed the squatch.
Just look. What about a sweet treat?
Just read the next.
Audrey L for $4.99 says, college is weird. Y'all keep me sane and comfort me when I'm homesick or stressed. Thanks, guys. How do we keep you sane?
I don't know.
Do we keep you sane by helping you realize what real insanity looks like?
I have no idea. We stopped in State College on our way back from camping this weekend.
Yeah.
I forgot how much I loved that place.
Yeah.
Wow. I was just walking around. I'm like, man, this was a great time in my life. I had that quote from The Office, the Ed Helms quote, where he says, it's something along the lines of like, I wish that, when you're in the good, I wish that when you were in the good times, there was somebody there to tell you those were the good times. I can't remember the exact quote, but I remember that being like, that hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts me.
One of these days,
Must be deep.
I still think you're going to end up in like some level of professorship.
I would like to do that later on.
Yeah.
Like in my 50s.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Myself and a number of our friends from high school have been telling him since high school that we think he's going to end up being a professor at some point. Now, I guess you technically are.
We're kind of there. I'm doing the same thing I'd be doing.
Yeah.
I'm actually doing a way more fun thing than I'd be doing. This is no offense to you all, but I'm so glad I'm not grading your papers. Like, this is much more fun.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
A lot more fun than grading papers.
Yeah, that's a lot of time.
And I get to research whatever I want. Kind of. Whatever the YouTube whatever the algorithm allows me to research.
Yeah.
Which is more than what the universities would.
We're in a good spot. Next is from Elena de Howler Werewolf Queen for $9.99. Thank you very much. Saying, howling laughing at the intro.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. I wasn't sure how it went. Not going to lie to you. I have a massive headache right now.
That's okay. We'll make it work. We'll make it. We'll survive. Aaron for $5.01. You know what I like, and I really appreciate your profile pic. Seminary student here. Any advice from Mattis on when to cite sources in a research paper?
It really depends what style you're using. If you're using Chicago, which is what's used primarily by historians in America, I've seen it frequently used by divinity students as well, divinity professors. Really as frequently as anytime that you are using someone else's information directly, footnote. It's not hard. It's a few extra minutes of work, and it prevents you from plagiarism charges. It prevents you from, getting lost from your professor not knowing where something came from. Because when you're using footnotes in Chicago style, it allows you to write in a way that you're not constantly saying, and according to so-and-so, and in so-and-so's book they say, and if you look here, so-and-so said, you should always introduce that the first time you use a source, but then throughout the rest of the paper, just, you can basically say, if it's John Smith wrote that the duck walked to the pond, then you put a footnote. You say, and when the duck walked to the pond, footnote, and when the duck walked to the pond, end sentence, footnote, that's fine. That tells, okay, you presented who you were sourcing, who you were citing earlier in the paper, and now you have made sure that, okay, yes, I know where this is coming from. Always source any quotations, any paraphrase of a quotation should always be cited. It's a little bit more ad hoc when it comes to statements that aren't direct from another person. So if I'm writing a paper and I've already presented who said what in a few different arguments, then I could get to a point where I'm, making my own point. I don't need to cite the other guys for my own point. I've already cited them. Once I get down to that point where I'm doing the analysis and I'm, presenting my argument, then it's a little bit more fluid. You don't necessarily need to be citing everything constantly. But yeah, good rule of thumb is you should expect to have 1 or 2 footnotes per page in an academic paper. Once you get into professional writing, it might not be quite as often. Really, the best thing I can say is find people in your field who are well regarded, study them, see what they do, and try and copy that.
Nice. Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99 says, this episode brought to you by Masterator.
Is it really macerator and not masterator?
Yeah, it's Masterator.
I thought there was a T in there this whole time.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it macerates things, which is essentially just like churning it up and making it into like a
soup.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, not a good soup.
No, bad soup.
Bad soup.
Bad soup. Bad touch, Mr. Huffington. Audrielle back at it again with $1.99 saying, as a kid these days, I don't understand us either.
Oh, good. It's not just me.
Yeah.
That was another thing I realized while I was up in state college is if I'm gonna act and we went camping, we gotta shoot that quick. Or they gotta not be college students, because I am very rapidly not going to fit in.
Well, no, you remember you're gonna play the TA.
Now that's the plan, yeah.
Yes.
I think I'm final. Well, that's even. I feel like I might be aging out of TA.
All right, then you'll be the professor.
I'll have to shave. I'll have to do a full shave.
No, TAs can be like in their late 20s. If you're a master's student TA.
Some of them, yeah.
You're fine.
At 28, I'll probably match young professor more than TA.
Possibly.
But
considering we're the writers,
the only thing that's going to change is whether I'm wearing a t-shirt or a hoodie or whether I'm wearing a turtleneck.
Can you wear with the turtleneck one of those blazers with the patches on the elbows?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We'll ham that up.
Perfect.
All right, cool.
Excellent. Vampire from Pluto for $2 says, the ADHD is strong as always. You better believe it.
Oh, it's bad now. I am in desperate need of something. At this point, we might just be looking at real meth.
Oh.
Can't be that hard to come by in Montgomery County.
Yeah, or Philly.
Yeah, I don't want to go to Philly. I'm scared. I'm scared of I don't want to go there. I feel like that's more of a heroin thing.
Yeah, and what's the thing that makes you like fold over?
I think that's heroin.
No. Is that the fentanyl? Is that what that is?
The people you're seeing who look like that are on heroin, which is often laced with fentanyl.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, Daniel Franklin Henry Jr. for $7.62. Love the specificity and the specific number. Good evening. I'm watching from South Dakota. I actually live in South Carolina, just here for work. I just finished the first season of Supernatural.
Oh, good for you.
Nice.
Good season.
Great season.
And I think you're actually, isn't the Wendigo episode in South Dakota? No, Colorado.
Yeah.
Which was something that bugged me about that episode once I learned more things. I was like, why is it Colorado? This is the wrong place.
You know why?
No.
Do you know where they filmed Supernatural?
Vancouver.
Yep.
What's that have to do with Colorado?
Well, they're certainly not going to get anywhere that looks like New Mexico up in Vancouver.
That's Skinwalkers.
Still.
Wendigo is Canada. It would be hard to get to a more appropriate place to shoot an episode about the Wendigo than
yeah. So I guess they could have done
Columbia.
Washington.
They could have. It should have just been like Ontario. And if they didn't want to go to Ontario, it could have been Minnesota.
They almost never left the U.S. though.
It could have been Minnesota. It could have been Wisconsin, Michigan. Could have been New York. Could have been northern Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Couldn't have been Ohio. Not because it's impossible for you to have Wendigo lore in Ohio. Just
it's impossible to Ohio.
yeah, Ohio's bad.
Yeah. Moving on.
No Ohio.
DMH for $5 says, thank you for your work. Regarding Polly Melton, is it possible that she fell into the creek and was trapped under something? Did searchers dredge it?
They did check the creek very thoroughly.
Okay.
Didn't dredge it because it's a national park, but they did do a very thorough search of the creek.
Fair. Emerald Queen for $4.99 says, Friday's video was confusing.
Yeah, how do you think I felt? I'm just like looking at a map for an hour and a half, like how? How did he get there?
Yeah.
Also, nobody gave enough specifics about anything in
Yeah.
that case. It was just, I don't know. The reporting from the 60s and the 70s was, even the 50s, was miles better than
Really?
what I've seen from the 80s reporting. Oh yeah. The level of detail that I saw in newspaper reports from the 50s, 60s, and 70s compared to the level of detail I saw in the Thelma Melton, the Michael Reel, Larry Davenport, and Eloise Lindsay, nowhere close.
I wonder what the reasoning might be for that.
My guess is probably changes in journalistic standards. Probably the competition with TV. In the 50s and 60s, you don't have a ton of that. It's there, but it's not in every household. You've more got radio. 80s, there's more channels, there's more availability, everything's getting faster paced. I mean, look at journalism now.
Yeah.
The average article is what, 400 words?
If that.
Yeah, it's and it's laced. There's ads throughout. There's hyperlinks everywhere.
It's
all
actually,
here's what it is now. It's all SEO writing.
yeah.
So they're writing for algorithm.
Yeah. And it's a shame because it literally, anytime I try and click on an actual article,
It's behind a paywall.
it's either behind a paywall or it is so overcome with ads that I immediately click off of it because I can't even read the actual article underneath the ads.
I basically won't read any articles on my phone anymore because because of all the ads. Every time I go to scroll, the article like reloads and reformats itself 6 times, and I'm like,
Yep.
Where was my spot? Half the time it'll just like the page will blank out completely, and I have to reload it, and then I lose my place.
Yep.
But
Yeah. It just becomes an exercise in patience.
horrible. Yeah. I'm struggling a bit this week. It's going to be a weird mix because I've got 80s reporting and modern reporting, and I want to jump off a cliff, Aiden. I want to jump off a cliff.
At least you're seeing the direct comparison between the two timelines.
Yeah, it's and of course at the center of all of it's the RCMP. Yeah. Oh, this one's great. I'm just gonna give you a little spoiler here, guys. Looking at the Jack family disappearance from 1989. As I'm reading through it, I come to a part where on the Wikipedia page, 'cause I'm just familiarizing myself with the general details. I get to the part on the Wikipedia page where it says that mistakenly, just a month or so into the search into the case, the RCMP accidentally closed the case. Like it was misreport. They had misreported that the family had been found, which caused the case to briefly be closed. Family had not been found, and I'm sitting there, I'm scratching my head. I'm like, that sounds familiar. Like something about that sounds really familiar.
Mm-hmm.
The family had been seen, so the case was shut down. And then I realized the exact same thing happened with Amber Tuccaro in 2010. They were like, oh, well, the RCMP received a few scattered anonymous reports that she had been cited in like Edmonton and went, oh, okay, well, she's fine, and just stopped investigating. Then she turned up dead like 2 years later. I cannot stress enough how bad the RCMP is at its job.
I just gotta wonder why.
It seems deliberate. I mean, the only time they ever seem to actually look for people is when they are, and this is not me trying to be like quote unquote woke or anything. The only time I see them try is when it is a white Canadian person, like not a Métis, not a native, white Canadians. And even then, they're not trying very hard. It's actually remarkable. But with I will say, from what I've seen so far with the natives, it really just seems like they're not trying. Like, they are deliberately trying to avoid investigating it. How do you, in the year 2024, have a highway named after the Trail of Tears that is an active problem?
Yeah, I mean, how does that not get more media attention?
It does in Canada to an extent, but Canada doesn't have quite as many private media stations as we do. We don't have a state media corporation. At least not officially. We more have like politically partisan media corporations, which isn't necessarily better. At least in Canada, they're all being fed the same lie.
Yeah, wouldn't you prefer the lies fight each other?
I don't know. I'm not sure they are all the time.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, I'm not sure how much of the division is theater anymore. At least up at that level.
Yeah, the theater makes a lot of money.
It does make a lot of money. But yeah, I mean, the Canadian, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, it's just abysmal. And then they trot it out every once in a while. They're like, no, we're looking. Please come forward with any new information. And then nothing happens.
Eh?
Yeah. I mean, the Amber Tuccaro case, I might even go back and revisit that. Because we did not have as much of a following back then. I kind of want to redo it at some point.
I mean, I'm sure.
I think it still isn't one of our most viewed videos. So.
No, that one got like throttled for some reason.
Huh, I wonder why.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if we could get to a point where we could kind of mix in a more recent or even like active missing persons case, especially like for the native communities, because like I know we touch on that.
Oh, there are several.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. Well, we wanted to touch.
Here's the thing: the ones that make the news are in Canada.
Yeah. Well,
I think I don't want to just say this as if it's a fact, because I can't say for sure that it is. But I mean, in the United States, we have a task force dedicated to this.
Mm-hmm.
They might just actually get solved more often here. I don't know. I'm going to look into it. I'm going to see if there's many. There are definitely several active ones here in the United States. But it doesn't, from what I've seen so far, it doesn't seem to be as egregious as it is in Canada. It's still not great, but it's bad in Canada.
Yeah, it's a shame. Anyway, we got a super chat from Kellen for $10.
Oh, what do you say?
He says, Millimeter made it back to Washington yesterday. PA is beautiful, especially the apples at Chas. Sorry if I talk too much.
Appalachians.
Got it. Sorry if I talk too much / over you. The tism kicks in hard when nervous and I can't shut up. Trust me.
No, we had a good time.
No, it was great getting to meet you. You had some phenomenal stories.
I didn't get to hear all of them because I had to go home.
Yeah. Dude, really just buried the lead about the Purple Heart. Yeah, I'm out on that one. Kellen's a badass. And everybody who's listening should know that.
That's true.
But yeah, no, seriously, thank you for coming by. Yeah. The poster over there.
Oh yeah, I'll grab it.
We're trying to figure out where to get a proper
There's a spot
frame for it.
We can go to.
Yeah, but this is sick.
Which camera?
The main one.
Main one?
Yep.
I feel like it'll be more visible.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. There you go.
And nice and pretty. Little Mothman poster.
It's good stuff. But yeah, seriously, thank you for coming by. It was awesome getting to chat with you. Looking forward to the next time. And hopefully we won't be as busy next time and we'll actually be able to chat a little longer than a few hours.
Kellen can come join the cult.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I didn't want it to be a cult, and then they talked me into it.
You talked yourself into it.
They want me to be their leader. What can I say?
Nobody is saying this.
They're all saying it.
Don't say that.
Hey, chat. Hey, chat.
Stop it, because he will do it. And I'm the only thing stopping him.
Chat, if you want me to be a cult leader, just type all hail the milk. Send it in the chat, obviously, but... And if you don't want me to be a cult leader, then send something else, like sour cream, which is still tasty, to be honest. I don't know. Any of the dairy products are probably a good thing. I think the point's been made.
I don't know what to do with you anymore. All right.
Chat.
So it is a cult. Someone said. Oh, hell the milk. Oh, God. You knew the exact thing to say to get them to...
It's not a cult. It's a community.
What exactly is the difference in your estimation?
I don't really know. I don't want to be a cult leader. I'm scared of power.
Yeah, you bring it on yourself.
The duality of man.
No, there will be no cults. There will be no compounds.
Okay, no, you cannot say no compounds. I get to have a compound.
No
If you're
compounds.
taking the cult from me, I get my compound.
No compound with people that you did not meet prior to 2020.
Fine. There's a few people I want to invite to the compound that I met after 2020.
With great exception.
Okay.
Other people can live in a town nearby, but that town is not one that you start and build yourself.
What if several shell corporations do?
Mildly. No, because then I'd rather
What
you
if they're
just do it.
publicly traded? What if it's not a cult? What if it's a publicly traded town?
So a town?
But I'm in charge.
Why don't we say
Spiritually.
no? How about this? How about there's a town and we invite people who like to live in areas like that to said town, because there are benefits of a good lifestyle. There's a good community there, and we are going to be holding an election to vote in a mayor of said town.
All right.
And you are the only candidate.
I see, now I like where we're going.
People can challenge you for the mayoral position, but I have a feeling it's going to be a difficult election.
Listen, we'll just take them for a train ride over in Wyoming, across the border.
You really have watched a lot of Yellowstone
Watched
recently.
a lot of Yellowstone recently.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that John Dutton is what I aspire to be.
I look like Casey, but I feel like I would end up being Rip.
The vibes around Rip are immaculate.
Right? I told you. I knew you'd love
I wish
him
he had better
eventually.
taste in women. I also wish a certain female character in that show didn't have so much plot armor.
Yeah.
Every episode of the show from mid-season 2 onward, I'm like, oh my God, please die. Please die. Please, for the love of God, die. Is Brie Larson in that?
No.
Okay, why did I think it was Brie Larson? Who plays the girl that the environmentalist chick? Is that not Brie Larson? I thought it was Brie Larson for some reason.
No, that's not. I can for sure say that's not Brie Larson, but I
My
don't know
brain,
the
it was Brie
actress's
Larson.
name.
Weird. Anyway,
Yeah. Anywho, next is
such thing as enough cult talk, and a fellow ought to know it.
yes. Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99 says Wendigoon better be there to film. LOL.
I mean, yeah, if he wants to come,
Yeah.
he's invited to the cult, the compound, the community.
I think he meant for the Donner Party video, but
Oh yeah, that too.
yeah, bro's busy, so we'll see. Time will tell.
We'll fly him out to a random location and just have him in the background, standing there menacingly.
Yeah, he tends to just do that.
Yeah, that's whether I ask him to or not. It's happened on several occasions.
Yeah, he just enjoys being that person.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I still remember when he just showed up behind me, outside of a window, holding an M1 Garand.
Yeah, that was the start of a long line and lineage of moments in time where that will occur.
How many people can say that while they were just doing something on the computer, they found out that an armed Wendigoon was standing behind them?
Not many.
Yeah, exactly. That was a weird weekend for me. I may or may not have been in danger, not from him, but from the tree people. I wouldn't be surprised if he has some tree person in him. Like 1/16th tree person princess.
That's what?
What? You know how people are like, my great-grandmother was a Cherokee princess?
Why Prince? Did they have?
This is have you not seen this everywhere?
No.
There's a ton of people from that region who are like, well, actually, my great-great-grandmother was a Cherokee princess. As if that was a thing the Cherokee had.
I was going to say, yeah, no, I've never heard of prince or princesses in the... Okay, so this is just total BS.
I'm just saying, he would probably be like, yeah, he's got to have a tree person ancestor back there somewhere. It would explain a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, isn't he partially native?
I don't know. Isaiah, I'll stop making fun of you if you come to Weird Bible again.
No, I think he is actually like partially native.
I don't know, probably. If he's down there. A
Yeah.
lot of people are.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is a lot of people from that area are 1/16th Cherokee. Just wasn't a princess. It was just some person.
Fair.
The Celtic and the indigenous populations got along quite well.
That makes me happy.
Mhm.
Next is from Gaius Rax for $9.99 saying, you got right. That's awesome. You guys should have Oompaville on to talk about the horrors of Appalachia. Also, did you get your boat motor fixed yet, Thornberry? The answer to that is a resounding no, and I might have to deal with that on Wednesday.
So I'll have to look into the person you suggested. I was camping.
Wait, hang on. What? You're not aware of Oompaville?
No.
Dude's got like 5.5 million subscribers.
I don't watch YouTube.
Yeah, he's doing the red thread now with Isaiah and
okay, that
the other
works.
guy. Yeah.
You can take a look at it.
Yeah.
See about it.
Yeah. I think he's dating the Call Me Chris girl.
That would make sense.
I'm just trying to think of any relevant creators that is in his realm. Yeah, he's mostly like reaction content kind of guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but while I was up the campsite, Amanda had a very slight amount of service, and she was like, "So Aiden just asked the entire Discord if anybody knows how boat motors work," and I was like, "Oh no, oh no."
Yeah, I did a lot of specific repairs this weekend. I replaced the spark plugs, checked on the carburetors, had to fix a
That's
fuel
your problem.
line.
You needed the boat berators.
The boat berators. It's true. And then what else?
Silly.
I had to clean out the coolant system. And there was like one other thing, and it's still not working properly.
I think once you have this thing all like repaired and fixed up, you should just sell it for more than you bought it for and buy a working boat.
See, I want to, but the key is that I want to get it to a position which I can start taking people on unofficial charters on.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not going because I'm going to have to make the video when you disappear.
Oh, it'll be fun.
That's what a lot of people who disappeared said. That's what Jim McGrogan said.
I will have an EPIRB.
What Ben Fish said. He's not the one who went missing, but
Fair.
that's what those people on the Titan sub said.
I'm not going. Well, I won't say I'm not going underwater because that's asking for trouble with the ocean.
Wasn't there a yacht that just been a storm?
Yeah, there's a lot of them that do that.
But like recently with a bunch of billionaires on it.
Oh yeah, I think they were all tied to a lawsuit that was about to get on trial, and then the ship suddenly sank.
Wasn't it a storm though?
I don't know.
I think it was a storm that sank the ship.
Maybe.
I don't know. This is how conspiracy theories start. We got to be careful.
It's true. But yeah, at the end of the day, I just want to be able to take people out fishing.
Okay, fine.
That's my goal.
All right.
Because I don't even fish that much. I just like being able to make people happy.
Well, if you disappear, it will be a non-fishing story about fishing.
Amazing.
Continue.
Anyway, Plato's Chair for $5 says,
What a name.
that is a great name. Love the channel. Just wanted to know, would you rather be hunted by a Wendigo or spend the night in Reading?
Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I know my answer, and it's absolutely get hunted by the Wendigo.
Yeah, it's Wendigo, I might die.
Reading, I absolutely will.
Reading, I'm actually scared.
Yep.
Like there's wards for Wendigos. Ways to keep them on. You know, you build a circle of fire, you're good.
That's
Reading,
not
I
a
don't think that
circle.
works.
That's an oval.
Okay.
Next is local legends Burt Moran for $5 saying, if you guys are planning a trip on traveling, I'm always down to take you guys to the Brandon Swanson spot. Just saying, keep up the good work.
Yeah, once we are gonna try, depending on how this meta-analysis video goes, if it's worth it, if it gets the kind of viewership that is necessary to justify the expense and the time, we do want to start going and doing on-location stuff. We feel like that would be the thing that takes the channel to the next level. Really sets us apart from the rest, except for Missing Enigma, who's been doing that for a while now.
Yep.
But dude, if he didn't have his own channel, I would be like, hey, can we just pay you to go to these places? But I'm happy for him that he's doing well. He deserves it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Next is Daniel Franklin Henry Jr. for $5.56. Love the specificity of that. Says, y'all should check out The Legend of Bellamy Bridge. It's from the Florida Panhandle, about 20 miles from where I grew up.
That sounds familiar. There's a lot of bridge legends in this country. I'll look it up really quick.
Fair enough.
Bellamy Bridge, right?
Yes, Bellamy Bridge. While you look that up, Miss Maury gave us $5 and said, heard only bad about Alaska Air lately. They treated my one streamer in a wheelchair terribly. Said it was the first time he was made to feel ashamed. Man, that's horrible.
That is horrible. I'm sorry. Yeah, I haven't heard great things about Alaska
No, well, that's...
Airlines.
Well,
Alaska itself is fantastic.
Alaska's great. I was on Alaska Airlines on the way to Alaska from Seattle, which was our connection, and we had to abort takeoff because the door opened. So, yeah.
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 I hate planes.
Yeah. I'm getting on another one on Thursday.
You have fun with that.
Yeah.
I won't be.
At least it's American. All right, next is from RDM2 for $10. Says, as a fellow ADHDer, the med shortage has been so frustrating. Been jumping around so many different pharmacies to stay in my meds. Hello from Lancaster.
Oh, no shit.
Nice and local.
Hey. Yeah, it's it turns out that the FDA just has a limit on how much Adderall can be on the market or produced for the United States. And I don't know why they have that. That doesn't make any sense.
No, considering the population, the population is growing, isn't it?
Yeah, and it would also help if they would stop prescribing Adderall to like 1 in 4 children under the age of 12.
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Like, I'm sorry, but I need it more than little Timmy.
What's the Bo Burnham quote from Inside? Like maybe oh no, that one was specifically about social media. It was like maybe like siphoning the serotonin from our children was for capital gains was not a good idea. Yeah. Same thing with Adderall, but in the reverse.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, I need to run to the bathroom really quick.
Go for it. I will. Sergeant Buck for $10 says, 8-year-olds is the age where you can recognize your friend broke his arm from a fall, but your definition of first aid goes only as far as quick get some leaves. Yeah, I could say as an 8-year-old who spent a lot of time in the woods and didn't make great choices, that sounds pretty accurate. Totally Not JMO for $10. You just jumped very far up away. Sorry, hang on. I got to scroll up back to it and find it because so many people are super chatting, and thank you for doing so. There you go. So Totally Not JMO $10 says, Chaos will make her siren song, singing all she wants. Do not hear what it has to say because you need the milk. The milk needs you to know how to live your life as it's meant to be. Thank you, JMO. Poetry as always. The White Trash Panda for 556 says, Mattis made a mistake, canceled. Yeah, unfortunately, everybody, I'm sorry to report that as of 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, the Lore Lodge has been canceled because we made a mistake. That mistake was not finding a piece of evidence and incorporating it into the video in a timely manner. We can never do better because we've made one mistake and now we will never be able to live up to who we were before. There's no such thing as becoming better people. And we are now going to wallow the rest of our lives into our graves. Yeah, terrible. Thank you guys again for always being cool about like giving suggestions on things that like we didn't see or noting our mistakes or issues and being able to point them out to us in a constructive way. because it's nice, it's helpful, and we love that we've created a supportive community in that regard. So thank you. Tyler Dalrymple for $5.56, love it, says, none of the reporting on this case makes any sense. Even from the guy who went missing, I'd still say y'all did a good job, especially in relation to the last super chat. Thank you very much. Yeah, I know Mattis puts a lot of effort into his research. I put a lot of effort into gathering from his research a variety of different elements to use visually. And yeah, it's a lot. We are glad that we are meeting your standards, at least. We try to meet ours, but we never do. We always strive for it to be better than it ever ends up being. Hopefully, someday, the bigger we get, the more viewership that we're able to find, the more we're going to be able to up the production value to the level that we would like. But nonetheless, Tiberius 3969 for $15.01. Love the specificity. Says, oh, great prophet Aiden of Aidentopia, when will you call for a crusade against the creatures of the deep forest for the peoples they have taken 411? It sounds like he's kind of gearing up to do that. Once he reaches the electoral status of mayor of the new town that we're creating in Montana, as you so recently heard about, we believe that we'll probably start to put together the forces for which we will crusade against the creatures of the deep forest.
What did I come back to?
I can read you the last super chat.
Creatures of the deep forest.
The super chat was, oh, great prophet Aiden of Aidentopia, when will you call for a crusade against the creatures of the deep forest for the peoples they have taken 411?
I don't know. May 12th, 2027 seems like a good date.
Fair. All right. You heard it here, folks. I also gave the...
2027 also when we're supposed to go with Roanoke Gaming to find the Dogman?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So 2027, clearly.
I also gave the breaking news announcements that as of 8:20 Eastern Standard Time, the Lore Lodge was canceled for missing a piece of information in one of their videos, and now we will be wallowing for the rest of our lives into our grave.
We've been canceled?
We have.
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's been a good run. Just kidding. You can't get rid of us. Well, you probably could, but it would require violence.
Either that or just like deleting the channel.
That true. Too.
I do that so frequently, it's not even funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, Totally Not JMO's next for $2, saying, by the way, you want a metal sculpture? I make small ones. That'd be cool.
Like metal as in it's made out of metal, or like it's a sculpture of Iron Maiden?
I'm going to go with the former.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Is it going to be from Berserk? What?
Cat said worst possible time to tune in. That's great. Miss Maury for $5 says, I'm having flashbacks to the Lexapro shortage from a year ago. I feel your pain.
Oh, God, Lexapro. I was on Lexapro for approximately 5 days before I decided it made me want to kill myself more than depression did.
Oh, my God. That's a shining endorsement.
Yeah, it was not a good drug.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
Zoloft was at least bearable, but still not fun.
Tough.
Yeah.
Next is from Elena de Howler Werewolf Queen for $19.99. Thank you very much. Says, you being willing to admit your mistakes is impressive. Not everyone has the integrity to do that.
I didn't always have the integrity to do that.
Isn't that the best part about growing up?
Growth.
That's what we're all about here at the Lodge. Growth.
Well, that and missing people.
Yeah. The growth of...
Missing people.
We're trying to anti-growth the missing people population.
We're trying to prevent that.
Yes.
It's kind of a self-defeating task in the long run, but...
It's a negative feedback loop.
What happens if we run out... What happens if people stop going missing? Did we win?
We won.
We won YouTube?
Yeah.
All right, nice. Do we get a prize for winning YouTube?
Yes, people not going missing anymore.
Good. Okay. So the prize is, Career suicide.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, hopefully at that point, then we can just start making movies out of all the stories.
It would be nice if I could, start making history videos again. We run out of missing people, I'll just start making history content again. Oh, yeah. We joke, but please stop going missing. I don't know who I'm talking to specifically, but whoever needs to hear it today, please don't go missing.
Oh my God.
What?
I'm not reading that out loud.
Oh, God. Which one?
One from Kat.
Cat's hitting the bottle early tonight.
Yeah, they were at work. They were at work happy hour.
Oh, I was right. Cool.
Yeah, 100%. Oh God. Anyway, the real William White for $2.23. Love the specificity, saying both the Aidens look good enough for calendars. I vehemently disagree with you, sir.
I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. I disagree as well.
Yeah. I keep trying to get there, but it just
Food's just so good, man.
that's the problem.
I like food a lot.
I like food a lot.
This
too.
is why we need the ranch.
The Hidden Valley?
No. Okay, what if we did call our ranch Hidden?
I'd be kind of badass. I bet there is one somewhere.
There's got to be a Hidden Valley ranch already.
Yeah.
I'd probably I would think about naming it something like Phoenix Vale.
I don't know that reference.
Well, we live in Phoenixville.
Oh, okay. So you're
Phoenix
just
Vale,
yeah.
Valley.
Got it.
Keep Phoenixville with us in our hearts.
Yes. I like that.
Yeah.
That's nice. Good stuff. Squitten for $1.99 says your guys' coffee is mine and my husband's favorite.
Thank you.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad. That's a good endorsement. If you would like to buy the coffee, you can go to tableauroastingco.com and click on collaborations, and you can buy ours and Stakuyi's. A collaboration between the Lore Lodge and Stakuyi. Might be something to look out for.
In the business, that's what we like to call foreshadowing.
Going to do this a lot over the next couple of months.
Yep. Jacob Anthony for $5 says, would you do a lacrosse on the ground investigation coming from a LaCrosse County resident? So here's my initial take to that. Based on everything that we learned from Donut Operator, probably not for the best for our safety.
If we were to do that, I would certainly be A, armed, and B, wearing body armor.
Yeah.
Maybe if we start working with them, they'll send us to lacrosse.
That'd be hilarious.
I just want an MRAP.
Yeah.
Take that in with us. We'll be good.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Maybe an Abrams.
Yeah, that'd be great.
No, we go to lacrosse, and I will go out to the bars. I will be the mark, and then it's your job to catch whoever tries to make me jump into the river.
Who fits the profile more?
Most of them were on the taller side,
Well,
which is neither of us.
I was going to say we're both
me
at
than
like that.
you.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Because I was going to say I'm a little more boyish looking.
That's true.
Like if I cut the hair and shave the beard, I do not look like a man.
All right. Well, this is going.
I look like a young lad.
Okay. Berries and cream.
Maybe we will get canceled tonight. You never know.
For berries and cream?
I don't know. I don't know what's safe anymore. I don't know what's sacred anymore.
Okay.
I'm sure that's going to be considered offensive at some point.
If it is, then I hope we have the ranch by then, because I will simply just stay at the ranch. I will tend to my honeybees and my sheep.
I'm so curious to see what you're going to look like at beekeeping age.
Probably old.
Define old.
Like, not young. Beyond middle age, but not yet dead.
Incredible. All right, moving swiftly along to the Castman 777.
Somebody should make a zombie cowboy game and call it Undead Redemption.
Is that you? Is that you asking yourself to do that?
Future me. Be a good mod.
It would. It'd be
Be a
fun.
really good mod. Speaking of which, I have to set up a Kickstarter this week.
Wait, no, there is a zombie mod on the original Red Dead.
There might be for the second one too. Maybe it's something that we can add into the server we're supposed to be building that we need a Kickstarter for because we need $1,600 to $1,700 to make it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
The Castman 777 for 1,000
At
yen.
this point, it actually might be cheaper to just pay the money up front. Might be easier, but we'll see.
Probably.
We'll see how profitable we are in the new year.
Fair. He said, I heard another theory about what happened to Tom Messick. Apparently, he was carrying nitroglycerin for his heart, but probably tripped and blew himself up, and then the animals ate his body parts.
I feel like
What year was Messick again?
2015.
There's no way anybody's carrying nitro for their heart in 2015, right?
I didn't know that nitroglycerin was used as a heart medication.
I think back in like the 1800s.
They really were just using everything for everything.
Yeah, I mean, imagine getting your hands on the original Coca-Cola recipe. Like,
That would help me get work done.
yeah. Yeah, it's true.
Inject it straight into my veins, and then I die because my veins are carbonated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it goes. All right, what's next?
Vampire from Pluto for $4.20. Love the specificity. Says, what's on the upcoming video list outside of 411?
Outside. So the Jack family disappearance. That is more of an MIP kind of situation up in Canada. That is coming up very soon. It is going to be a lot of missing 411 up through November, just because we've got to get them done before we go down there. We got we're working on a much more in-depth Donner Party doc, possibly a few episodes. That'll be next summer. We have a John Benet Ramsey video coming up for Christmas.
Yeah, we're planning with, so we were literally just talking about this last week about we're going to schedule out the rest of the year for topics.
Yeah.
We're hoping, considering we're doing so much of the cluster content, we're hoping that like once a month we'll mix in something that's not 411 just
Yeah.
to keep things somewhat fresh.
And then maybe twice a month.
Yeah.
And then maybe thrice a month.
Yeah.
Until we don't have to do a missing 411 case every week.
Remember like a year and a half ago when we said, man, yeah, we're finally getting to a point where we don't have to always do missing 411 anymore.
Yeah, and then the algorithm decided that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
YouTube was like, no. Don't you understand? You are digital serfs. And the land to which you are tied is missing 411.
Yep. It's fun. We like it. Anyway, Wyatt Gilliams, I think, for $5 says politicians stopped being cool when conspiracies became declassified.
I don't think there were many. I feel like stuff just got weird in the middle of the 20th century, and it's been weird ever since. Like it used to be weird in a much more, crunchy way. Much more granola weird.
It all started with
All
Franz
natural weird.
Ferdinand.
All of it?
All of it.
Okay.
That, the Austrian telegraph poles, all of it.
Austrian telegraph poles?
Yeah, I don't know the legitimacy of it, but wasn't the aggression that started the First World War in relevance to some, like, lack of payment over Austrian telegraph
Has
poles?
something to do with Serbia, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was like a
Probably.
confluence of those things together that led to the assassination of the Archduke Franz Ferdinand.
Yeah, we all we laugh about what's going on today, but imagine you're some British guy fighting in a trench in France because a Serbian shot a Duke of Austria.
Yeah, sometimes people forget how good we have it right
Yeah.
now.
Not ideal.
No.
All right, next question.
Next question is from my wife for $5.56, saying, Zog this, Zog that, you fools don't know that is the theater kid occupied government who is our real enemy. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's all the theater kids who, I don't know, still needed attention and couldn't make it on Broadway.
I like that theory. Politicians are just off-Broadway actors.
Yeah, but it's off-Broadway actors specifically who couldn't deal with being off-Broadway.
Yeah, I'd take that.
Yeah.
Over what we have now.
Yeah.
It couldn't be worse.
No, I think the actual off-Broadway play of the American government would probably be less entertaining than what the American government is now, which is not the way it should be.
I don't like describing it as entertaining. I'm just frightened.
Yeah.
I don't like the way things are headed. That's why I want a ranch.
Yeah.
And if you all think like I do, exactly like I do, you can follow me to my ranch.
This is getting too consistent.
Hey, it's going to be great. It's going to be self-sufficient. There will be solar panels and wind stuff. Maybe a small nuclear reactor if I can get away with it. We'll have security to keep out a certain George.
Oh, yeah, no, that George can never step foot on the property.
George must absolutely never step foot on the property.
William's cool, though.
William's okay. He's celibate.
Yeah. Incredible. Eleanor de Howler Werewolf Queen for $19.99. Thank you very much. Says, put this aside for anything that might help with your ADHD. Well,
thank you. So do you know any meth dealers?
Stop. The Castman 777 for 2,000
bad
yen.
for my ADD.
Yeah, fair. 2,000 yen.
Oh, 2,000 yen.
Thank you. Says, the lady that you talked to about 2 weeks ago, the most logical explanation that I can think of is that her friends killed her and hid her body. Talked about 2 weeks ago, sorry. And then lied about everything else. Only thing else would be Bigfoot or aliens. I think this is Thelma.
Yeah, it is. But that's the thing is her friends were also older women.
Yeah.
Who probably would struggle to hide her body far enough off trail that she wouldn't be found. I agree with the Park Service on that one. I don't think she's still in the park. I think she left the park. I just don't know how or why. Maybe an aneurysm or a stroke that caused her to have amnesia, but you would think somebody who is that messed up would be noticeable. What are you doing?
Hang on, no, I am shocked by the comment from my wife that was just a regular chat saying Franz Ferdinand was the original Harambe. And you know what? I don't think I've ever heard anything more true.
Okay. All right. Oh, sure. Why not? Just sure. They shouldn't have shot that gorilla.
No, they shouldn't have.
The timeline.
They messed up the timeline bad.
Everybody's talking about CERN messing up the timeline. No, it was shooting the gorilla.
All I gotta say, I think
that child was not supposed to survive.
I think Mudang is the reverse Harambe.
Mudang?
Yeah. The little baby hippo that everybody's loving right now?
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Did you see that some of the flat earthers are now denying that pandas exist? Owen Benjamin among them.
I don't even have a comment on that.
Owen Benjamin called me gay on Twitter. That's just a thing that happened recently that I thought I should mention.
Yeah, that was weird. What a weird trajectory.
Yeah. The minor podcaster to getting called gay by Owen Benjamin pipeline is apparently a real thing. I'm the only one in it.
Do you like being in that pipeline?
Not particularly. It was weird.
Okay.
Why has he got a bear in his username?
I don't know. I think it was like a nickname of his at one point.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He called me gay, and I responded something along the lines of like, I don't know. I said something about how he fumbled Nicole Richie, and he stopped responding. So I think I won.
I am completely out of the loop on this one. All I know is that Mudang is healing the world.
Good.
Reverse Harambe Mudang. Anyway, moving on. Potatoes for Seamus for $4.99 says, Aiden, when are you going to kidnap Sir Wendigoon and feed him to the Pensacola Lighthouse Beast? LOL JK, come visit some F and AM lodges down here too.
Ooh, I would love to come visit some Florida lodges. I will say I've heard some sketchy things about a couple of Florida lodges, but if yours is cool, then I'm chill with it. I will say this much. Nobody's kidnapping Isaiah.
No, definitely not.
I would not want to be the person that tries.
No.
He's not going down without a fight.
Do not approach Wendigoon in a manner in which he has.
If you want to be fed to a very adorable corgi, go for it.
Yeah. You will not
Really
survive.
cute corgi.
You will not survive.
I miss Benny.
Yeah.
He's a good boy.
That's a good boy. Next is from Radar. It's $1.
Thank you.
Tyler Dalrymple for $2 says, part of my job is to put chickens in a macerator. I guess you're making chicken nuggets?
I hope you're making chicken nuggets.
He's just
I
getting
don't want to know what the
chicken
other purpose would be.
Yeah. How much of the chicken do you put into a macerator?
I think they put the whole thing in. Like, I think they clean out the entrails first, but I'm pretty sure like the bones and
That's why I know the bones are in there, but
I'm assuming they get the entrails out.
didn't Food Inc. or somebody do a thing on this? I don't know.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. They showed us Food Inc. in 10th grade environmental science class, and it made me hungry.
Incredible. Also, don't answer that if you had to sign an NDA and it's going to get you like fired. We don't want that here.
Yeah, they're like, look what goes into your meat, and I was like, look what goes into my belly. Tasty. Yum. Delicious.
Totally not JMO for $5.08. Thank you for the specificity. I needed Friday's video because my rabbit truck diesel ran away and destroyed its head. Thank you guys for all you do. I know I rarely say that. JMO, I am sorry that the rabbit ran away. Our
rabbits also ran away.
Yeah, our rabbits ran away, but those were like biological rabbits. Also, I'm glad someone can feel my pain about mechanical difficulties. Appreciate it.
If you or a loved one has experienced mechanical difficulties, it's probably your fault.
You may have made poor financial decisions. You may be a man in your 20s.
Yeah.
Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99 says, drugs are bad, MK, unless you ate Wendigo stew.
Wendigo stew?
Wendigoon stew. Not Wendigo.
Neither of those are good. Why is half of this show just now us responding to heinous things said about Wendigo?
I don't know. Anytime he gets brought up, period, everybody just like latches on.
Yeah. I did not like any of the way you phrased that.
I was really hoping you were going to let the noise just slide.
Nope. That was horrible. It's the worst thing you've ever done, and I know most of the things you've done.
You know what? I'll take it. That's encouraging to me. The Hillbilly Historian for $9.99 says, check out the Sean Smallman's book, Dangerous Spirits, The Wendigo in Myth and History. Next time you talk Mothman, Lord Dunmore's War / the Battle of Point Pleasant would make a great history segment.
Yeah. I think a Mothman revisitation may be coming up in October, I think.
That'd be fun. I was hoping that we would do something relevant to stuff like that.
Yeah, because October is the one time of year I can get away with having a little fun.
Yeah.
Last year, I will say the Jason Voorhees video didn't do as well as we would have liked, but it was a lot of fun to make.
Yeah, but the Blair Witch Project one did really well.
That did do really well. I forgot about that. Yeah.
The Jason Voorhees one did pretty solid. It was the Freddy Krueger one that really fell off.
I think the Freddy Krueger one only fell off because Warner Brothers was like, how dare you?
It was partially that, partially because I think we put it out like November 2nd.
Yeah.
So everybody was already like, Halloween's over. So.
No more Mr. Knife Guy. It had such a good title.
It did. It really did. Vampire from Pluto for $5 says, Ohio equals that shadowy place Mufasa said you should never go to. You mean the Elephant Graveyard?
Yeah. Ohio is the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Ohio is Mordor.
No, it's not cool enough. Mordor has volcanoes.
Fair.
Ohio gets to be like Harad at best. Maybe Rune.
No.
Yeah, you're not up on the Lord of the Rings lore.
No. You got to remember, the only time I've ever watched those movies was with you.
That's
the
fair.
one time where you sat me down and made me watch all 3 extended cuts in one sitting.
Mm-hmm. It's a great time. Should do it again.
I remember none of it.
We'll do it again.
Dominoes and Sprite?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And if you don't figure it out by then, we'll Clockwork Orange you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just has to be done.
Just has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
What about second breakfast?
We were there was a thunderstorm while we were camping, and Amanda and I were having so much trouble falling asleep. I was just reading Lord of the Rings on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where she was having such a hard time falling asleep. She asked me to read Lord of the Rings to her. which was actually really cute.
I was gonna say
Like,
you
don't
must
get me
have
wrong,
loved
that was
that.
awesome,
Yeah.
but I was just surprised. I was like, "Do you want me to start over?" And she was like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, we're just past the Battle of Helm's Deep. Like, you have no idea where we're at here. This is different from the movies. You haven't even seen that movie yet. Like, yeah, I can't just drop you in right now." She's like, "No." I'm like, okay, well, yeah. So Pippin picked up the Palantir.
Incredible. Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99.
Okay, really quickly, one other thing though, because Lord of the Rings, the book, The Two Towers, is Saruman's reaction to losing the Battle of Helm's Deep is so much more emo. Like in the movie, he's like, you're gonna die, all of you are gonna die, and blah blah blah. You don't know what you're dealing with, the big man, and then Grima stabs him, and he falls onto a wheel and gets impaled on a spike, and then goes underwater, and the Palantir drops out of his robes. Which kind of metal, if we're being honest. In the book, he just kind of locks himself away, and he's like, well, now I am not coming out.
Yeah, that's extremely emo.
And what I love about Lord of the Rings is it's like, yes, the former head of the Wizard Council lost a battle with humans using his half-man, half-orc army, so he's locked himself away inside of a giant stone tower guarded by tree men.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I love Lord of the Rings.
Incredible. Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99 says, so when's the video on the Trump family road trip?
The what?
No idea.
The what family road trip?
Trump, Tromp.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Neither do I.
Is that an actual thing, or was there a joke being made that I just didn't understand?
I don't know. We'll look into it, though, if it's real. If it's not a lie.
You wouldn't do that, Seamus, right? You wouldn't lie to me. What?
That was just funny.
Actually, it's not. His name isn't Seamus. It's Potatoes for. I think I know which Seamus he's referring to.
Who?
Coughlin. I think.
Who?
I think it's Seamus Coughlin,
Who's
the
that?
cartoonist.
Oh, cool.
I think it is. If I'm wrong, let me know. That's what I assumed it was.
Anyway, Ellen the Howler Werewolf Queen for $9.99 says, trailing thoughts and rambling for hours at a minimum happens to me so much as an autistic wolf that I ended up thinking it's Thursday, but it's Monday of the next week. Don't feel bad, Aiden.
Oh, yeah, that's... Whew. Let me tell you, when we got back for Alaska, I did not know what day it was for a solid 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, it was hard to keep track of days in Alaska for sure.
Yeah. But you know what wasn't hard to keep track of? The Days Inn in Albany, New York.
Oh, that
The
was
worst place ever.
seared into my memory.
Yeah, I did not enjoy being there.
No, definitely not.
Also, stop sending super chats. I want to go to bed. I appreciate you, but I'm so tired.
Yeah, we'll close out. We don't have a ton left, I think.
Yeah, it's not that many.
All right. Hang on. Got to find out where we were.
I have to watch You with my my girlfriend.
The show?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, You. I have cameras. Back in college, somebody, I think it was actually our friend Morgan from high school, texted me, and she was like, so don't take this the wrong way, but you kind of remind me of Joe Goldberg from You. And I was like, I hadn't seen the show at that point, and I was like, is that a good thing? And she went, it's not, I don't mean it in a bad way. And that was probably the darkest moment of my life. I was like, in what way do I remind you of this? As soon as I watched the show, I was like, what did you mean by this?
Yeah. Do you see it now that you've watched the show?
I kind of get where she might have been coming from. Because, like,
I can see it somewhat in, like, the facial features.
I think she meant more personality-wise.
That's more concerning.
Which was more concerning. I think it was because I did have a tendency to get very invested in the women I dated. Not to that level. I assume that's what was meant by it.
Yeah, probably.
I hope that's what was meant by it. I should text her.
Yeah, you should.
Hey, Morgan, what did you mean by that?
Matt,
the people I got compared to in college.
Yeah. Matt Flynn for $3.50 says, all hail the milk.
Yeah, exactly. See? They want the cult.
They do. White Trash Panda coming in with $2 saying, Mattis equals ordering a cult leader off Temu.
Hey.
Temu?
Hey.
Kellen says...
I'm Wish cult leader.
There you go. Kellen says it's
do not conflate me with Chinese Amazon.
Kellen says it's not a cult if there's no religion.
What if I'm not the leader of the religion? We can still have a church.
Depends. Is there a preacher at that church that is an authority of that faith that you are not an authority of?
We'll say yes.
An academic authority does not count.
We'll say yes. I'll do what the Tsar of Rus did back in, like, I think it was the 700s, where he was like, it might have been the 800s, where he was like, hey, you Christians and Jews and Muslims, bring me your religions and I will pick one. Maybe I'll do that.
There you go.
You know why he didn't pick Islam?
Why?
You weren't allowed to drink.
Yeah, that tracks.
You want to know why he didn't pick Judaism?
Why?
Weren't allowed to eat pork.
Man likes barbecue and beers. All right, I can respect it.
And the Catholics and the Orthodox got there and they were like, you can keep partying. We have most of the same rules as them, but you can drink and eat bacon. And he was like, got it. And then they were like, well, which one? And he was like, I don't know. And the Orthodox were like, we'll give you an alphabet. And they did. And he picked that.
The best trade deal in the history of trade deals. Incredible.
I give you my immortal soul. You give me Cyrillic. It's going to be a fun podcast.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun podcast. Logan, for $19, said
you.
W cult leader Mattis.
Yeah, take that, Koresh. Get got.
If you're going to be the cult leader, what the hell does that make me? Which is a concerning question I never thought I'd ask.
You'll be the second in command who has doubts. We need a second in command who has doubts.
So I'm just keeping the same role I have
Exactly.
since the beginning of this.
Exactly.
Incredible. I guess this is turning into a cult.
After everything falls apart, you get to make the documentary.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm in on that. That works. That makes a lot of sense. Jacob Anthony for $5 says, all hail the milk. Everyone needs to change their last name to Aldenson.
What? Why?
Neither of our last names is Aldenson.
Is this a reference to something?
Perchance.
Oh no.
I don't know. If it is, I don't know.
Yeah, no. Everybody gets a new last name based on some form of dairy.
Can mine be Greer?
It's a little close to Rex's last name.
It works then.
Okay, sure.
I like Gruyere.
Yeah.
It's a good cheese.
Nobody's allowed to be Swiss simply because I don't like Swiss cheese. Not a fan.
Gruyere.
Cheese shouldn't have that many holes, Aiden.
Gruyere is made in Switzerland, but it doesn't have holes.
It's the holes that are the problem for me.
Got it.
Yeah.
Do you have trypophobia?
No. I just think that cheese should not have holes. Why would you sell me a block of cheese that's partially empty?
Flavor.
I don't like the flavor.
Makes sense that you don't like it then.
Exactly. My last name will be Cheddar.
My last name will be American.
Oh, God. We said cheese, Aiden, not abominations.
Hey.
I'm just kidding. I actually do enjoy American cheese in the right context.
Yeah, on a
Like
burger.
somebody who, like, if somebody walked up to me eating a block of cheese, like they handed me a charcuterie board and I cut into one of the cheeses and took a bite of it and it was Kraft, I would probably do unspeakable things to that person's body. And then hide it somewhere nobody would ever find it. But if you give me a cheeseburger with American, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like, if you put American cheese on a charcuterie board, you are a psychopath.
You know what I'd like to taste just to see how bad it would be? American on a pizza.
Oh.
Yep.
I've seen it done on
Really?
the internet. Never in person.
I feel like it would just smell bad.
Wouldn't smell great. I will tell you this. I have made some really good scrambled eggs with American cheese. Yellow American.
Yeah.
I'll heat the pan up to like the 6 setting, and I'll toss a couple slices of American cheese in there and let it get gooey and melty. Then I'll throw in some half and half and stir it around till it's a sauce. And then I take the scrambled egg mixture and I toss that in there and I just whisk it until it's a little firm.
Yep.
I never stop whisking it, Aiden. They are that you can spread the eggs. They are spreadable eggs.
That's awesome.
Oh, they're so good.
Whatever you did with the pierogies a couple years ago was phenomenal.
You are still on the pierogi thing. I'm
was
going to have to
great.
do that for you again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even remember. Was it pierogies mac and cheese? Is that what you did?
I think I did pierogies on top of mac and cheese with either seared prosciutto or smoked salmon.
I think it was the prosciutto that
Yeah.
night. You also did an ice cream thing at some point with like pie.
Yeah, I had some leftover apple pie,
Yeah.
and I took that, and I think I microwaved a scoop of ice cream in it, and I mixed it together, and then I popped another ice cream on top.
Yeah, that was it. The man's a culinary wizard.
It's the Italian in me.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving swiftly
I
along.
wish he'd get out. It's very uncomfortable.
Incredible. It just makes me think of the quote from Norman about his time in Italy.
What about Mussolini?
That'll just randomly pop into my
The
head.
only
every now and
comments
again.
I've heard about Mussolini here have been vaguely sympathetic.
Yeah. So good. So good. Norman, if by chance you are watching this, which I know you're not, how you doing? Potatoes for Seamus for $4.99 says, it's not a compound with a cult unless Wendigoon does a video about it, and I hear there's a place open in East Texas that we can start a place up. No, it'd be Wyoming.
It's got to be Wyoming or Montana. Also, I just got an alert on my watch, a news alert. Woman learns fate in Bitcoin online dating murder plot.
Wait, what? Also, Kat said it was the pierogi with the Cholula sauce.
Ooh, she's right. That
Yeah.
was in there.
Yeah.
Because that was how it was. What it really was how I would fry them.
Yeah,
Because I would use like butter, some seasonings, a little bit of Cholula, and I would just.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shit was good. Anyway, what was this?
Oh, woman learns fate in Bitcoin online dating murder plot. A Tennessee woman will spend more than 8 years behind bars after attempting to hire an online hitman to kill the wife of a man she met on the dating website Match.com.
Why are people doing things like this?
Love, clearly.
No. But like, do you remember from like a couple weeks ago the Chase Bank glitch?
Yeah. Well, that was just people being stupid.
I know, but how are you that dumb? Like that is the result of being chronically online.
Aiden, in what grade did they teach you financial literacy?
Oh, that's right. Never.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's valid. Alexander Wright for $2 says the milk cult cometh.
Yes.
Miss Maury for $5. Savior of the universe.
I don't know what it would fight. You got, if we're going with the day man, night man thing, is a milk cult fighter of the skim cult?
I'm sure if we started a cult, somebody would want to fight us.
Well, the ATF only has 1,718 agents.
Only.
Only.
Didn't they just buff up their numbers though?
Not enough.
Wait,
They
but
will not be able to fight the battle cows.
it's not going to be a cult though, because we keep calling it a cult. Most cults they don't call
That's
them cults.
true, yeah. By making it a cult on purpose, are we avoiding it being a cult?
I think so. Is this the Catch-20 cult?
We need to go to bed.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Super
Yeah,
chat.
we got to get out
Off
of here.
the rails.
All right, Miss Maury for $5 says,
Somebody's going to start a real cult and it's going to be our fault.
yeah, please don't do that. We're not permitting you to do that. Thank you. Miss Maury for $5 says, the boyfriend and I are shopping for a missile silo. You're
Hell
welcome
yeah.
to come visit. My hydroponics garden will be the next to the D&D and Warhammer room. That's wild.
That sounds like fun.
I lived on top of a missile silo when I was younger.
I learn new things about you all the time.
Well, yeah, were you aware that Valley Forge Mountain was the site of Nike missile silos in the 60s?
There was a missile inside of that mountain?
Multiple.
Is it still there?
No. They took them out, and then all of the locations where the silos were have been filled in either with a lot of dirt or do you know how they covered most old Nike missile silos? Tennis courts. So if you see random tennis courts in places where you wouldn't normally expect there to be a tennis court,
There's a lot of random tennis courts around us.
yeah,
I don't like that.
they used to be missile silos.
Well, all right.
This could be wrong, but this is information I saw online and was told in person by multiple people.
Well, everybody knows that whatever you read on the internet is true.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on. The cast man for 777 for another 2,000 yen, saying another bizarre disappearance is Sky Budnick, who flew to Japan and disappeared in 2008 and has been missing since. Both the Japanese and the American governments have no idea what happened to her. Look up Megan LeBron on TikTok. Fair enough.
All right.
We'll take a look.
Okay.
Vampire from Pluto for $10.26. Love the specificity, saying, for the Donner Party video, you must assemble a modern wagon train and travel the Oregon Trail in period clothing. We can skip the dysentery, but someone must fall in a river. I will fall in the river and most likely get dysentery from my habits of eating.
I just like the idea of us in 1840s clothes driving a Jeep Gladiator across the desert.
That'd be great. No. It's got to be a wagon.
Grand Wagoneer?
Real wagon.
I don't want to drive a wagon.
What if we
start at Conestoga High School?
What if we cowboy it?
Horses?
Yeah.
Do you want to die?
Why would we die?
A lot of them did.
Well, let's see how good at it we are.
We have about as much experience as most of them.
Exactly.
Who's going to be Louis Keysburg on the adventure?
That would probably be Wendigoon if he came. Either him or Mr. Ballin.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, continue.
Yep. Emerald Queen for $1.99 says, Reddit good PA or CA?
Huh?
Reddit good PA or CA?
I'm confused by the statement Reddit good.
I don't know either. What, maybe I have no idea.
I'm sorry, I don't know what you meant by that.
Please clarify if you can. Nigger. I gotta stop doing that. Elena the Howler Werewolf Queen for $19.99 says, for Joe B.
Joe B. Which Joe B?
Could be any of them.
Well, now I don't know what's happening. These super chats are getting less and less coherent. You know who I want? You know who I want at the compound to run the livestock? I want Joe Exotic. We're going to break Joe Exotic out of prison in where, Oklahoma?
Probably.
Yeah, we're going to break Joe Exotic out of prison in Oklahoma and bring him to Wyoming, and he will be in charge of the livestock.
Are you sure this is a good idea?
Oh, it's the best idea.
I don't think you're ever going to financially recover from that.
He hasn't. For those of you who didn't know, one of his husbands hit on me over Snapchat back in 2020. Before Tiger King blew up.
Before we blew up.
Yeah.
You were just two random dudes on the internet.
Yeah. Dylan, if you're watching this, I hope you're well. My life was weird before we started doing this.
Yeah.
I boxed a neo-Nazi in college.
And won.
Yeah, and now another neo-Nazi challenged me to a boxing match, and he was supposed to set up a venue, and Austin Whitsitt, my guy, where are you? Where are you? Where's the boxing match going to be? I'm so ready. I haven't even gotten physical therapy for my bad elbow yet. I probably should have.
I would be so interested to see you go training mode, or would you even train?
Oh, if that boxing match does happen, which at this point I can't imagine it's happening anytime soon, because we said October and it's very nearly October and nothing has been planned. But no, I do not like that man. Not just because of the flat Earth stuff, but also because he's just, as I think he's realizing the grift is coming to an end because of I think it was called The Final Experiment. Which, honestly, I would think he would like to go on that because of the name. It sounds very similar to something he seems to have been a big fan of. But they're going to fly over Antarctica and prove there's no wall. And as soon as that happens, it's over. The grift is done. You can't say the Earth is flat if Antarctica isn't an ice wall. So
yeah, but what if all the windows are actually just television screens. And
I'm sure someone will try to claim that, but no, it's because he's just gone full neo-Nazi on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So, the Holocaust didn't happen, but if it did, it was a good thing. That kind of neo-Nazi. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So, I'm very interested in just beating the living daylights out of this guy. Especially
I'm all
because
for it.
if he's as arrogant about his intellect if he's as arrogant about his physical abilities as he is about his intellect, it'll take me about 3 seconds to put this guy on the floor. I don't think he's quite that bad. I'm also curious to see if he's actually as tall as he claims to be.
Yeah, he might have the reach on you.
Yeah, here's the thing he won't have is you can punch me a lot of times.
Yeah, it's true. You can take a hit.
That's how I won the boxing match with the neo-Nazi in college. He kept punching me in the ribs, and he was just so flimsy it didn't hurt. I ran into him recently in Collegeville at my show with Pity for the Gourd.
Yeah.
He has really long, gross hair now. No, not like that. Like very straight and greasy, long hair. Yeah.
When did Pity for the Gourd play in Collegeville?
April, that one time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So a while back.
Yeah, that was wild. I was like, wait a second, I know that guy. Punched him a bunch of times.
Oh my God. All right. Asklor for $10 says, do you think Jesus would approve of a church gym if it was run well and all profits went to improving the church and supplying the soup kitchen next door? I think 100%.
Yeah. Jesus would be all about that.
Yeah.
I don't. Jesus didn't have a problem with physical fitness.
Yeah. If anything, it would be
It just wasn't really a thing back then. You didn't really have people being like, gotta hit the gym. He was a carpenter.
That was
spent all of his time building things out of wood.
Plus, the food back then didn't cause a lot of physical issues,
Mhm.
so most people were in decent shape.
Yeah, a lot of people if you want to know how bad your food is, go and look at pictures from 1970. Just pictures of people walking around Manhattan. Things were different.
Yeah,
It's upsetting.
it is. Nova 8 Batman gave us $1.
What a name. Thank you.
What a name indeed. Star J for $2 says, oh no, a mistake. Better pull out the ukulele. Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I know what that's a reference to.
What's it a reference to?
Miranda sings. Colleen Ballinger, I think her name was. She got caught. I forget exactly what she got caught doing, but her apology video, she made a song and played ukulele to apologize for messaging minors or something. Oh my God. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember if that's what it was. I don't think it was necessarily inappropriately.
Yeah.
It was just if I'm not mistaken, it was just the fact that she as an adult was talking to minors. That was the problem. It wasn't further inappropriate than that, I don't think, but people were like, why were you doing that?
Yeah. They were like, just stop being sussy.
The most interaction I have with people under the age of 18 is just general chats in our Discord server, which I rarely talk to anybody, and when I do, it's usually here's a meme. For good reason. Because it's just not there's no good reason for somebody over the age of 18 to be talking to people under the age of 18 unless you know them personally.
Yeah, if it's a family member.
Yeah,
or
like a coworker or a classmate.
Yeah. I don't know.
No.
Where a coworker, I guess if you're a barista or something.
Yeah. When I was in college, I worked with a lot of people who were 16 to 22.
That's fair. Yeah.
So in that circumstance, it's different.
Yeah.
Right. You're a camp counselor. But you shouldn't talk to those people outside of camp hours. It really is incredible how many people struggle with this concept.
I think there's something extra creepy about it if it's online.
Yeah.
There's just something, because if you're interacting with somebody in person and it's in a work environment or familial environment or even just normal in person, you're in public, there's an idea that it'd be hard to be weird or intentionally in that circumstance. But
there's witnesses.
Exactly. But when you're online,
even if you are a bad person, you might keep yourself under control.
Exactly. But when it's online, different story, different ballgame.
We have a pretty brutal reaction to anybody who talks to people inappropriately in our server. As far as brutal can get, which is just total ban. But we did report someone to the feds.
Oh, that's right.
We did report someone to the feds. Yeah.
Anyway,
If you talk to minors in my server, I'll report you to the feds.
yes. Be responsible. Be a good person. Don't be a creep.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, Sabretooth SA117 for $7.62. Love the specificity. Says, have y'all played Space Marines 2 and have you heard about the Harusi Heresy? I think you broke him.
I wasn't ready for Harusi Heresy, but yes, in fact, I did play the entire campaign of Space Marine 2 in one stream 2 Fridays ago. It was my most viewed stream on that channel ever. It peaked at 1,005 people. I then did Space Marine 2, all of the operations, last Friday, which also got up to like 400 viewers. So people like that game. I have been streaming it on Fridays. I'll probably continue streaming it on Fridays for a little bit. I might do a Helldivers one just to test out the new patch. And then obviously when Black Ops 6 comes out, I'm going to try some Warzone. But yeah, over on that channel, I was doing some Space Marine 2. It's such a fun game. It's just it takes me back to like when games used to just not be serious at all. Like, yeah, it's got a good story. It's fun, but it really just is a hack and slash to just chill with your buddies.
That's fun.
It's just a fun game. It is goofy in all the right ways while also having this like, cool exterior.
Nice.
Also, there's one moment from the campaign stream. It was the last mission. It was probably like 1 a.m. I'd been streaming since 6 p.m. And I see the big bird dude, and I'm like, oh, there's a big bird dude. And Sean goes, oh yeah, it's the Lord of Change. And then he continues to talk. It's just like, oh, it's Obama. And I could hear the disappointment in his voice.
Oh, that's great though.
That was a fun one.
That sounds it. Bear for $5 says, hey, I'm considering getting my master's in medieval history. Any advice? Also, do you have any recommendations for doing Latin translations?
I will be very blunt with you. I know very little about Latin. As for getting a master's in medieval studies, I think depending on what you want to do, it's a great idea. If you plan on being an author, fantastic. If you plan on being a teacher, fantastic. Professor, great idea. Thing is, here's the good thing. Super, super small field. Here's the bad thing. Super, super small field. Not a lot of jobs as a professor. If you get one, you'll keep it. Because there aren't a lot of medieval studies professors out there. Really where you want to be, though, if you're going to go that route, is media. You want to be in media. Whether it's as a consultant for television programs and movies, or if you are doing writing, you're making YouTube videos, whatever, I would say that's probably your best bet, because the fact of the matter is historians do not make money. The fact that I am able to do this is a massive anomaly. So I definitely would never discourage somebody from doing it. Just my advice is make sure you have a plan, like, laid out.
Yeah.
For what you want to do. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself getting shipped around as an adjunct to all sorts of universities all over the place. As for where to get that degree, that's probably the most important part. Several of the Ivies have good programs, Princeton among them. Penn does not have one, but they do have a lot of great medieval resources if you go for a history master's. Notre Dame, Southern Methodist, Penn State, you can do a history with a medieval studies minor, a graduate minor. Penn State's program is phenomenal. Just history in general at Penn State. There are few schools where you could do better in the U.S. In terms of resources. Outside of the Ivies, I don't know that there is one. Maybe Notre Dame. But yeah, those would be my bits and pieces.
Nice. I did see just as...
You definitely want to go to a tier 1 university, though. If you go anything below tier 1, you're, I by that I mean like a Penn State, like a land grant university, like a big state school or a big Ivy League or a really solid private like a Dartmouth or a Colgate, Swarthmore, stuff like that. I don't know if Swarthmore has master's programs though. So my point in saying that is because it's such a niche field, You need to make sure you're getting the best education possible. Otherwise, you're going to get passed over.
Nice.
Or go to the UK. The UK, like St. Andrews, Bangor, Cambridge, Oxford, all phenomenal medieval studies programs.
Nice.
My professor in college, my favorite professor was an Oxford product.
Mm,
He was Penn State and Oxford.
nice. Yeah, we have, that reminds me, one of the people that we might be able to pull onto Weird Bible, I got to talk to him to see if he'd be interested in it, and I think he probably would be. But he studied at Trinity, and then he taught at Harvard for a little while.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. But now he's over at my high school.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Also, very, very different vibe. But
Uh-huh.
JD Petty said, let me be clear. I am not a giant bird.
Let me be clear. I am not a giant birdman.
Despite what you may think of me, I am not Michael Keaton.
Now listen. If you like your emperor, you can keep him.
Incredible. MC's Creations for $5. Interesting says, relax, guys. They're trying to cancel Star Wars theory with no success either. Nobody cares anymore.
What did he do?
Who knows?
I did see a petition going around that they were trying to get YouTube to like demonetize any Star Wars account that didn't love the Acolyte. And I was like, that's a great way to not get what you want.
Didn't the show get canceled anyway?
Yeah. Because it was bad. It was like, it feels like, what was her name? Leslie Headland, the director,
No
writer.
idea.
I think it was something like that. Well, she was talking about, she was like, you talking about using Kurosawa as an influence like Lucas did. And I think she mixed up Japan and China. I think I said this, I might have said this last week, but like, or I said it on something, but the duel scenes don't look like they're from a samurai movie. They look like they're from a kung fu movie.
Interesting.
It doesn't look like The Hidden Castle.
Got it.
It looks like, what's the Jackie Chan one with the, I can't remember the name of the movie.
He's made a lot of them.
The really big one, the really famous one, the most famous one.
Not
Had a dragon or a tiger in the title. Anyway, you get my point.
yeah.
Like the very cheesy 60s kung fu movies
Yeah.
where people would like float down from things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't look like Kurosawa. It looked like she was like, hey, intern, bring me Asian stuff. And then kind of sort of copied it. There's a duel between like a Wookiee Jedi and then another Jedi and a Sith, or like two Jedi. It's not, I didn't watch it very closely. And the Wookiee, like the fight's moving so slowly. Like every swing is like this. And it's not like the original trilogy where it was because the lightsaber's supposed to be heavy. It was like just slow and lumbering. And all of the defenses were like, well, it's a Wookiee. It's going to be slow and lumbering. It's like, no, first of all, you don't know how the Force works. Also, if the Wookiee was moving that slowly, the other two would have torn it apart by now. So this just doesn't make sense. It doesn't work and it's bad. And you need to accept that. Like, the show got canceled because it's not just Disney's worst performing Star Wars show. It's also their worst performing show if you include Marvel. It performed worse than every single Star Wars and Marvel series they made.
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta
Now,
say,
here's the difference.
Go
It
ahead.
cost them $180 million. And everybody was like, well, why is Andor getting a season 2? It didn't have that many viewers because Andor didn't cost $180 million. And it was critically well received by both the audience and the critics. Because Andor's a cool story.
yeah, I gotta like actually watch
Yeah.
Andor. I've only watched like the first episode or two, and I just keep forgetting to finish it.
Yeah. It sucks because, like, cinematically, they're beautiful. All of them.
Yeah.
Every single show has been gorgeous to watch. But the quality of writing is just so varied.
Mhm.
And I feel like Disney keeps coming in and being like, well, no, it needs more color. And then they do something like they take Book of Boba Fett and make his main sidekicks a bunch of 50s greasers on brightly colored speeder bikes.
Well, it's really interesting that now, because the whole studio system used to function that way, where like MGM versus Paramount versus a lot of the things, especially back in like the golden era
Yeah.
and the bronze era or like silver era or whatever of the studio systems, they would have like their footprint. And now it's kind of weird to see these streaming platforms are now becoming the new studios. Like all of these different studios are going bankrupt, and these streaming services are essentially buying them or taking them over, and they all have their really specific styles. Like Netflix has their kind of code for what a Netflix film is supposed to look like. Same thing. A24 is the one exception where it's not a service.
So much.
They make good stuff and they have a really unique style, but it is interesting.
A24 makes art pieces. They don't make movies.
What A24 movies have you seen?
They make performance art. They don't make movies.
What have you seen?
I've seen The Witch. I've seen Hereditary. I've seen Midsummer.
Okay.
Those are the 3 that I can name off the top of my head. Not one of them had a compelling plot, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Those movies I have not seen personally.
Which ones have you seen?
I gotta look them up. But the point that I was making specifically is that it's interesting to see how things have shifted.
Yeah.
In terms of who is making movies and for who.
Oh, good God. It's already almost 9:25.
Oh, Jesus. Is it really?
Yeah. I'm going to be in so much trouble. I told Amanda I'd be home by 9.
Oh, The Lighthouse was great.
I've heard that one was good.
Yeah. Lighthouse
That's
was
Robert
great.
Pattinson, right?
Yeah, yeah. And Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, I heard that was good. I don't know. Maybe it's because all of the A24 I've seen has been like horror, quote unquote.
Uncut Gems, I haven't seen.
That was them.
Yeah.
Okay, so it might be that A24 makes really bad horror movies.
Yeah, I know. But they all have that really specific style. There's a number of A24 movies. Like, I haven't seen 8th Grade yet, but that was the one that Bo Burnham directed.
Yeah.
And I really want to see that because I really like his work. Tusk.
Like I said, they make really bad horror movies.
No. Kevin Smith, I appreciate a lot of what you've done for movie making. I will never forgive you for making Tusk.
All right, I will revise my statement. A24 makes really bad horror movies. They make pretty decent cinema otherwise.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh no, what did you do?
That was a spark plug video.
What are the last few super chats?
Emerald Queen for $9.99 says, my physical therapist cut me off from PT agelinist? Oh, maybe against my wishes, my insurance, my doctor's orders, and refuses to even pretend to understand why I'm hurt by her betrayal. Yeah,
that sucks.
That's messed up.
I would find yourself a new physical therapist.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's not fun at all.
And probably a regular therapist as well, because that seems difficult to work through.
Fair. Audrey L for $4.99 and $1.99 says, politics scare me. I will join the ranch and make clothes. Can we have a Stitch and Bitch Discord chat?
Stitch and Bitch?
Yeah.
That sounds sick. Probably, yeah.
I love that that's a phrase, so yes. Miss Maury for $2 says, at least 3 of us want the Stitch and Bitch. Yeah, it's happening. If somebody...
Yes, it's happening.
If one of the mods hasn't done it already, we will. Jacket has been a member for 5 months. Thank you. Says, Mothman Festival was fun since you mentioned him, and I saw about 10 people in Wendigoon's Cryptids on tour shirts. Even took a picture with the dude.
That's
nice.
Awesome.
Radar
we got to get down there next year.
We do, we really do. Radar for $2 says, do you guys know of any cases or such in Virginia?
Of missing 411 stuff, there is a Virginia. I think there aren't a ton of them in Virginia, but there are some in the Blue Ridge.
Got it.
Which we will get to.
Fair. Oh, I want to see the menu too. Kellen brought that up in terms of the A24.
Yeah. Which one was that?
That's the one. I can't remember the actor's name, but it's.
Oh, I remember which one that is. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
I was thinking of The Invitation, which was made twice. I saw the original, and then another a bigger studio came out with a remake of it, which is weird because the movie came out in the 2010s. The original.
Wouldn't be shocked if it was a European.
It wasn't.
Really?
No, the original wasn't a European one.
Wow.
It was just low budget.
Oh, got it.
And it was solid for being a low budget movie. Don't get me wrong. Just, I saw there was a remake too. I haven't seen that though.
Interesting.
All right, anything left?
Just a few. Potatoes for Seamus for $4.99 says, Trump road trip in Australia. They went missing, then showed back up and wouldn't talk about what happened. Also, hail the magnificent milk lore master.
Hell yeah. I will look into that then, because people have been asking for an Aussie case.
Kellen wrote something in Russian, I believe.
In Cyrillic, probably.
Yeah, it's in Cyrillic.
Why don't you copy and paste it into Google, see what it says?
All right. Copy. Paste.
What does it mean? Just type in translate.
Yes, comrade, the Cyrillic alphabet is the best.
Yes, comrade, the Cyrillic alphabet is the best.
It is best. It is top notch. Emerald Queen for $1.99 says favorite type of cheese. Gruyere for me.
I'm a big sharp cheddar guy. I
Fair.
love me a good aged sharp cheddar.
Nice.
Yeah.
Jacob Anthony for $2 says Aidenson, aka Son of Aiden.
Oh,
So
you
it was
read
just
Alvinson.
Yeah,
It
'cause
probably
It was a capital, or it was a lowercase. It was a capital I or a lowercase L.
maybe it might have autocorrected
yeah.
itself too. So that makes a lot more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Potatoes for Seamus for $1.99 says Aiden, great masqueraders of ultra milk. I'm all
Whatever
in.
that means. Hell yeah,
Whatever that
brother.
means. And then last but not
We got to have a
least,
milk brand.
we do. I'm shocked it took us this long to
Yeah.
think of that. That's probably going to be really complicated. All right, Sebi C for $10. Thank you very much. Says any plans on going back on unsubscribe? That episode was hilarious. That is entirely up to them.
Entirely up to them. I am supposed to have a phone call with Eli tomorrow about something else.
Yeah, if you want me on
So-
that as well, let me know.
Yeah, well, you know, it's I don't have a time for it yet.
Fair.
Still waiting to hear back on that part. YouTubers and timing. And I'm not even, that's not even me being like, nobody else, you know, everybody else is disorganized. I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
I'm
We're
really
not-
bad about it.
We all try and pretend like we're running real businesses, but we have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. We're just guys being
We're
dudes.
just guys being dudes.
What I will say is by the time if we do go back on unsubscribe, and we both love to, we're going to need to hit the gym beforehand because watching that video back, we look so small.
Oh my God. There's a reason I've
We
been in
look
the gym
so
recently.
little. It's huge.
The worst part is that it's like little here. This is the smallest I've ever been.
I didn't even think I
since
was
hit
that little.
puberty. That's the thing. Is like after having done so many sports in
Mhm.
high school, I'm so used to not having to think about
Mhm.
putting effort in because I had to go to practice, and also not having to think about what I eat because it would just get burnt off for like 3 hours a day. But now I'm small here and large here, and I don't like it.
Yeah, as far as I've been like one of the bigger ones in our friend group in terms of like bulk.
Yeah,
It was weird being down there and being tiny.
yeah. We're small, so we can throw on the muscle pretty quick, though.
Yeah. I started doing push-ups every day to try and catch up.
Nice. I'm
Uh,
I'm thinking about hitting the gym after this.
Like tonight,
Yeah,
I'm going Wednesday.
I haven't gone in a few days, so
Going Wednesday, Saturday, and hike Sunday.
hey,
Feel free to come for the hike if you guys would like to. Not this Sunday, but we're going to start trying to hike every Sunday.
yeah, I'd definitely be down to
Take
join
you
for
for
that.
brunch in St. Pete's and have it not suck.
There we go.
Unless the one time you come is that time again.
I can finally. Wouldn't it be
It's
hilarious?
so funny.
Oh, it kind of again roulette. We're playing St. Pete's roulette. We're not allowed to look it up.
I'm not allowed to look at the calendar. Also, is there a reason that the...
Yeah. I just minimized it because I didn't want to look at any other super chats in case.
Oh,
they
okay,
came
just in case
Um,
they came in. Well,
yeah.
one did. Oh, maybe
Nope,
not. Maybe
nope,
it's old.
nope.
Cool.
But yeah, I can finally put to use the Condor backpack that I was supposed to get prior to Alaska.
came.
That showed up like 3 days before we came home.
Yep.
A full week late.
Thanks, Condor.
Thanks, Condor. It's a great backpack. I wish I could have used it.
All right. Well, I think that's about the end of the show.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. Nice. Larry Davenport video comes out this Friday. We will see. I may or may not record a quick segment talking about the interview. Just sitting in front of my computer to edit in. Depends on, I think how this, if I feel like this got a decent number of views and people saw it, then I probably won't do that. But if I don't feel that way, I'll play it by ear. Anyway, yes. The one other thing, remember, Monday, September 30th, we are launching that trip. You can save $200 off the total cost by getting in as one of those first 8 people. Other thing, keep in mind that you will need to purchase airfare. Just a reminder, or you're going to need to drive yourself. But, that's not included in the price of the trip. You have to get yourself there. We also have to get ourselves there. The only thing, we don't pay for the actual trip itself, but we do have to pay to get ourselves there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But Alaska was just enormously fun.
So good.
Yellowstone's going to be great too. So if it's something that you want to do, then get ready for it. You also can pay for it over time using a firm. So if that price point, $1,800, $2,000 is too high for you to do in one go, you can pay for it over, I think, 6, 12, or 18 months using a firm. They're very, very accessible about that. And yeah, Also, we're going to try and get a run of hoodies coming out of our merch. So if you want that, go to Bunker Branding. Show some views, show some interest so that we can convince them to let us put up hoodies. New hoodies.
Yes.
Winter hoodies. Winter. All right. Well, with all that said, did you just hurt yourself?
No, it's all good.
Okay, it sounded like it would hurt. But all right. Thank you for stopping by the Lore Lodge, everybody. I'm going to bed.
See you guys.